All right, ladies and germs, it's time for the late night boxing Tawks. I'm gonna try to make this a quick one because I wanted to touch on the Marv Nation mystery bid and just a few other things. Nothing major. I don't think I'm gonna let this one run on as long as most other late night boxing talks because there's really only a few things I wanted to touch on. Marv Nation, if you follow this channel, you'll have heard me mention them many, many times. They've done some of Yocasta Valle's fights. They've done her sister, Naomi, Maricela Cornejo. Raquel Miller was supposed to fight on a card, a Marv Nation card, but her opponent fell ill, so she wasn't able to fight. And, I've known about Marv Nation for a while. It's a small West Coast outfit. They do local shows, but they also do some shows south of the border in Central America, some Latin American countries, yada, yada. And what makes the whole thing peculiar is that Regis Prograis is a pro Bellum fighter. He signed to them. Now, Chong, he signed to Zanfer. And while Zanfer does a lot of cards south of the border, and they do business with Top Rank, it's my understanding that Top Rank didn't have any slots for this fight, which is a part of why they didn't pick it up. Now, for a small outfit like a Marv Nation that does not have a network deal with a Fox, with a Showtime, with an ESPN, or with a DAZN, what you have to ask yourself is, okay, you just put in a very aggressive bid for this fight. You essentially priced this fight between Regis Prograis and Jose Zapata. I fuck it up, I don't know. You price this at double the amount that TGB prices it. TGB is basically Tom Brown, which is just another way of saying Al Heyman, which is just another way of saying PBC. PBC priced that fight at 1.2 million. Marv Nation prices it at double that amount at 2.4 million. So when you put a bid in like that, that means you're determined to win the rights for this fight, and you are essentially willing to overpay. That's what that means. If you put in 2.4 million, because that is not a $2.4 million fight, to be completely honest with you. I don't know that the commercial value of that fight, if you do that show somewhere in America, it's going to bring you back $2.4 million. I don't know about all that. For Chong and Regis Prograis, these are household names. So what's curious about that is you essentially have a small-time promoter that even people in the industry are not familiar with, putting in a bid like that, and they don't have a TV deal. Okay, you don't have a TV deal, so where are you getting the money? Because the big-time outfits, they get their budget from the network. The network gives them a budget. And you don't have a TV deal, so where are you getting that money? And, for those of you that follow this channel, you will have remembered that I talked about how Marv Nation jumped into bed with both Pro Bellum and Golden Boy Promotions. So depending on where the fight lands, that will tell you where the 2.4 million came from, because I don't think Marv Nation just has, I don't have $2.4 million just lying around for a rainy day. They're a local small-time outfit. They're a well-to-do outfit for what it's worth. They're a good little outfit. They're one of the good little outfits that are out there that's actually pretty good, but they ain't $2.4 million good. Good, you know what I mean? They ain't making that kind of money off them shows. And for you to stake that just to win the rights for Prograis versus Zapata, it's weird. And I said it yesterday, that it's weird that Prograis, who's with Pro Bellum, and Chong, who's with Zanfer, that this is going to a purse bid. Were they unable to reach a deal? Is nobody available to finance the fight? Because even if Top Rank didn't want it, well, what about Pro Bellum? They do their own shows in the UAE. They do their own shows in Dubai. Why didn't they make that show happen? Why did it end up going to a purse bid? Because y'all know how it works. It goes to a purse bid if you didn't make a deal, if the teams didn't reach a deal by the deadline. If there's no deal, it goes to a purse bid. And then anybody can buy the show. And Marv Nation is said to have bought the show, which is weird. Why would this small-time promoter that doesn't even have a platform pay this kind of money for a show? And where does a small-time outfit like this get this kind of money? You have to make a deposit when you go to these purse bids. If you're going to bid, you have to make a deposit just to be able to bid. So they must have put down something substantial just to be able to participate. And what makes it weird is this outfit, y'all don't roll like that. Y'all don't be doing $1 million shows. Like, God bless you, but y'all don't do that. So if the show ends up on DAZN, not saying that it will or won't, but if it did, then that might be an indication that the money came from Golden Boy. Golden Boy and Marv Nation co-promote Yokasta Valle. They share that fighter, Yokasta Valle. If the show were to end up on DAZN, I don't know, maybe the money came from Golden Boy. If it doesn't end up on DAZN, if it ends up on a Fight TV or a Fubo or some shit like that, then you'll know, okay, that's Pro Bellum that gave y'all that money. And people have their suspicions about Pro Bellum, that's really just MTK by another name, as most of the MTK stable of fighters, a good number of them, they ended up going to Pro Bellum. Fighters like Dina Thorsland, I did a whole video on it, so I don't want to have to recap the same thing. But a lot of those fighters that were with MTK, they went to Pro Bellum. And most people suspect that Pro Bellum is just MTK by another name, which is understandable. Them being based out of that part of the world, a lot of people feel that Daniel Kinahan is involved, even though no formal connection has been made between Daniel and Pro Bellum. But when you connect dots, it all looks a certain way. So that kind of encompasses the strangeness of Marv Nation basically beating out the PBC for the rights to Prograis versus Zepeda. The reason the PBC wanted those rights is kind of obvious. They have a stake in the 140-pound division. They have at least 3 fighters there. They have Gary Antoine Russell, they have Subriel Matias, and they have Jeremias Ponce. 2 of the 4 alphabet titles have already gone over there. In a nutshell, they have the WBA title that Alberto Puello has, and he's basically a PBC fighter. He won it this past weekend. Alberto Puello, unbeaten guy, he's got the WBA, and very soon Jeremias Ponce and Subriel Matias are going to fight for the newly vacated IBF. I was goody, Sawab. Was goody? Base request Jules to block me. He says all I say. Man, I don't know what y'all arguing about in them comments, man. I'm old and sleepy. I don't know what y'all arguing about in there. Y'all better behave yourselves, because I'm sleepy. I suspect, Don Ramon Champ says, I suspect Pro Bellum is MTK Global 2.0, and they got Richard Schaefer at Pro Bellum, so you know they are shady. Exactly. I believe that he's just a figurehead, because you have to think about it. How is it, and I did a lot of videos on it all this year and all last year, how is it that a fledgling promotional outfit that doesn't have a TV deal in any part of the world ends up jumping into bed with all these different local promotional outfits all around the world? You're talking about outfits in Russia, outfits in Australia. They signed Lou DiBella also. He jumped into bed with them earlier this year. They jumped into bed with Yvonne Michelle. They jumped into bed with Eye of the Tiger. It looked like they was just making friends with everybody. And this is an outfit that basically came out late last year, this Pro Bellum thing, this Richard Schaefer thing. And based on how fast the promotional outfit grew, I knew that, like, something is not right. Something ain't right here. Like, bro, y'all just started. How y'all got all these fighters? How y'all making all these friends? How are you supposed to finance all of this? And you know what I mean? If you connect the dots, you can see. You know what I mean? So that's all that is. Pro Bellum is basically supposed to be Richard Schaefer's baby, but most people feel that it's just MTK by another name. That basically when the heat was on, MTK basically went out of business, and by the time they did, everything was already transferred to Pro Bellum, because Pro Bellum came out last year. MTK Global closed their doors this year. And now a lot of those fighters, if you look at the posters of MTK and you look at the posters of Pro Bellum, a lot of those is the same fighters. A lot of them. So it's not hard to put together what happened there, you know. And when you have a small outfit, one of the local promoters that got, that formed some kind of an alliance with Bellum is Marv Nation. Marv Nation did a show in Costa Rica with Bellum. You could see the Bellum logo on the poster. You can see the Bellum logo on the Marv Nation thing, the Marv Nation. You can see the logo there. And some people feel, which I think makes sense, that, okay, well, maybe they got the money from Bellum, because Marv Nation is not a multi-million-dollar outfit for y'all to be putting up $2.4 million for no Prograis versus Zapata. You don't have either of these fighters under contract. Why would you spend that kind of money on this fight? And how do you expect to get it back if you're going to pay out $2.4 million for this fight? How you going to get the money back? What do you, like? You ain't got a casino deal. You ain't got a TV deal. So how you going to get that back? Darrell Miller versus Lucas Brown in November. Oh, yeah, I know. I talked about that in my previous video. I was Goody Candace, was Goody Smokey. Queensbury taking a lot of ex-MTK fighters. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. I mean, what's going on now, and I said this in the video that I just uploaded, that, Eddie Hearn, for whatever reason, has detractors. I don't really know what's wrong with those people that love to spend all their time on Twitter just taking the piss, but here's reality. He just struck a tourism deal with the people in the UAE. They got a lot of money over there. Before that, he just did a over $100 million fight with Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk. Very successful. They bought the rights for the fight off Matchroom for over $100 million. He's got the Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank fight coming up. That's a big fight. He's got the Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin fight coming up. That's another big fight. And Frank and Bob and Lou and all these people, they're not putting on shows that size, let alone in that succession. It's big show after big show after big show. And all the while he's making partners with these very wealthy people abroad, and they got to keep up. They got to try to compete. They got to keep up. That's basically what that is. Mm-hmm. And like I said, when it comes to Pascal and Buatsi, we'll see. Not Pascal and Buatsi. When it comes to Prograis and Zapata, we'll see where it ends up, because where it ends up will tell us who the money is from, where that money come from, because Marv Nation is not a big outfit. I've known about Marv Nation for a while, and that's not a big promotional outfit to be bidding no $2.4 million for a Prograis fight. Like, nah, they don't roll like that. Somebody gave y'all that money. The question is who? If it ends up on DAZN, maybe Golden Boy gave them that money, even though that's a very aggressive bid for what doesn't look like a $2.4 million fight. That doesn't look like a $2.4 million fight. I feel like that fight at best is around $1 million. That fight, if you put it out there and you did it, what would it bring you back? If you're lucky, it brings you back $1 million. Y'all paid 2 times that. Y'all paid over that. So y'all got that money from somewhere. Somebody gave y'all that money. Was it Golden Boy? Was it Bellum? Somebody gave y'all that money. And I guess the good and bad news is, because it's Bellum, because it's Marv Nation that won the bid, you have to ask yourself, is this fight even going to happen? Because where would you show it? Marv Nation ain't got a TV deal. Where are you going to show the fight? We'll find out. I'm going to open up the chat to the panel, talk about a few subjects. And yeah, I was on Twitter earlier. I had a whole long drug out discussion with some guy, one of those PBC Intern guys, and he was trying to poo-poo all over the Canelo versus Golovkin fight while simultaneously bigging up, shout out to Jay, certain forces are at work here. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Because, you don't just spend $2.4 million, You don't just, for a Prograis fight? Bro, can they bring you that money back? That's a real question. So, I was arguing with this guy earlier who was basically trying to poo-poo all over Canelo versus Golovkin. And at the same time, he was hyping up Ruiz versus Ortiz. And I'm like, see, I already know what this is. Like, you one of those, like something wrong with you. You one of these guys that needs to believe that the PBC are doing things on the same scale as DAZN, even though DAZN is global and the PBC is local, very much local. Ortiz versus Ruiz is not a big fight. No, it's not. I'll be surprised if they could crack 150,000 with that fight. I would be surprised. I named all these different. I think Jay seen the conversation. Jay, you seen that conversation?
Was it with a Mr. Danny Ramirez?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Weird guy, and I'm like, bro, what are you trying to convince people of? That shows like Ruiz versus Areola, Ortiz versus Martin, Thurman versus Barrios. That's value for money? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Those pay-per-views didn't sell anything. The fuck are you talking about?
I mean, Jules, it's like the people that are going to buy that fight, all four of them. I hope that they're truly entertained at the end of the day, and we'll see the buys if they're ever released.
And the undercards are always shit too. It's always shit undercards.
Exactly. I mean, even the main events are shit.
Even the main events are shit. So what are you paying for?
Thurman versus Barrios is a fucking undercard fight, bro. That's a fucking Friday night fight, bro. That ain't even an undercard fight. That's a Friday night fight, bro.
With the buys of that ever released?
I'm just gonna say this. I know Basic Kid hates it, but it's Cuck Nation. That's all it is.
Bro, listen. If you got beef, don't talk. If you got beef with people, do you think I went live so that you could beef with people?
No, I'm not talking about them. I'm just saying because he hates it when I mention cucks. I'm not beefing anyone, Jules.
But you are beefing with him because you making this live about you and him.
I don't know. I didn't mean that.
All right, now let me read this super chat. The corporate espionage is very high in boxing right now, and sanctioning bodies in the middle playing promoters against each other. Let's explain. Oh, yeah, definitely, because I do think that's what's going on. I said it to Drew. I think Drew saw it when I said that. How is it that Lou DiBella was able to win that purse bid by such a marginal amount? You understand that if you look at the purse bid between Prograis and Zapata, right, there were only two bidders, TGB and Marv Nation. And the difference in the bids was dramatic. Marv Nation bid 2 times what TGB bid. But somehow Lou DiBella knew all I got to do is add a little $100,000, and that's it.
Exactly.
And I agree with your
one at a time. Go ahead, Drew.
And here, like you said, here's what's going on, Drew, just from the M&A corporate espionage perspective. The sanctioning bodies know the only leverage they have is the belts and their institution because they're cracking down on all the multiple title defenses. And ever since they had that big meeting, Jules, remember they had that meeting last year? Where
they had like a confab. They had like a brunch.
So what they're doing now is the details of the purse bids are for sale. You want to know what that. I believe you want to. So Eddie did the same thing. It's paying to play. This is boxing. It's corrupt. Eddie knew. Okay, this is where Frank's at. You tell me what he bids, and I'll tell you what I'm bidding. And each purse bids for sale to know the details of who's your competition, who's this, who's that. So they told Lou DiBella, look, this is what Eddie did. And all these other sides are, like you said, they're ganging up against Eddie because Eddie has the biggest backing. Eddie realized he fucked up in America and he overplayed and overextended. And COVID didn't help. So what Eddie's doing...
Let me say this, Drew. When it comes to Matchroom's endeavor in America, I don't think that Eddie Hearn and DAZN factored in American stupidity, because that's really what fucked things up. You have a big bag that you're willing to give to a lot of fighters to come over and have fights, and you didn't bank on, Jamal being a fucking moron. You didn't bank on that. That like, yo, we offering you $7 million, my guy. You telling me you don't want that? They offered Javante $7 million for Tevin Farmer, and Al Heyman really convinced that man not to take it. It's like he didn't realize that, like, yo, some of these fucking guys, they're fucking dumb. Like this, it's not that you didn't have the money. The money was real enough for Ruiz. It was real enough for motherfucking Mikey Garcia, who we all know is about his money, right? It was fucking real enough for Jose Ramirez. It was real enough for Oscar Rivas. But only you dumb motherfuckers let somebody convince y'all that money wasn't real.
Yes. Okay. So we'll add that to the blame pie, Jules. So basically, Eddie's first foray into America, it wasn't a failure. It wasn't a success. It was, what's that word I'm looking for? It was indifferent. He took a couple bumps. He did a couple things. So basically now he's circling the American pond. He sees Showtime's getting rid of their budget. Top Rank don't ever want to make superstars, so they're just going to do what they do. Let me go do what I'm doing and set this stage up like Dana White did in Abu Dhabi when he started getting that money over there. Now they have sustained cards and more money. Mm-hmm. Eddie's just doing that and playing the long game, and those fighters are going to get fed up long enough to look. Marv Nation's card is co-promoted with Eddie in fucking Costa Rica coming up. My man Beto Duran's doing the play-by-play on that card. Mm-hmm. So all these small outfits are just picking sides. Am I going to go with Aram and Frank and these dudes that are battling Eddie, or am I going to fuck with Eddie? And Eddie's just playing the long game, Jules. You know this. Like, look, I got the bag. I got the superstars. The other guys are going to want to be on the cards that the superstars are fighting on. So let me just play this long game, and let me just add this before I give it back, let you land the plane, Jules.
Well, I'm going to say this.
The stupidity part, real quick, the stupidity part, you're right. But then it's also even further because all these dudes had to do was ask, like, yo, Danny Jacobs, what kind of deal you got that you're able to go get all this fucking money, bro? What the fuck?
Well, look, that's
Andy Ruiz, Chavez Jr., Mikey.
That's the conversation that I was having earlier with what's the name of the guy? Danny Ramirez?
The dumbass from Sacramento.
Yeah, this dickhead. Like, fam, you a fucking idiot, bro. Like, how stupid you gotta be to pay somebody $60 or $80 for Ruiz versus Ortiz? Even if you did buy that, you know what that makes you? You fucking dumber than I thought. That's what that shit mean. Candace, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at everything that you're saying. It's just like, you know, I mean, everything you're saying is right, because it's like, what I mean, cause like you said, because what, like I said, like yesterday, Wilder was a moron for turning out $120 million to fight AJ.
Exactly.
You got Luis Ortiz, senile ass. He done turned out $7 million to fight AJ.
And look at the pattern, Candace. You got Wilder that turned down Big Bread, Ortiz that turned down Big Bread, Kovnowski that turned down Big Bread, motherfucking Charlo wife, soon to be ex-wife. You know what she said? They gonna foreclose that man's house. But they offered that man $7 million to come over, unify titles with Demetrius, and you let them convince you to say no. And Gervonta did the same thing. See, they didn't get while the getting was good. The getting was good at that time because the zone, they knew they had to pay to play. Like, we got to crack a couple of eggs to make an omelet. That's what we got to do. We got to spend. And them bozos, like Danny was smart. Danny got some money. Motherfucking Mikey got some motherfucking money. A couple of guys got some money. But them dickheads, look at where they at now. Look at where they at now. Like, Charlo probably ain't going to fight this year. He probably ain't. Broner, they've been trying to get Broner. Broner didn't take none of their bags. Peep how retarded this shit is. They was going to give you a bag to come over and fight Conor Ben. And you said no. So you could end up in an Omar Figueroa fight that you pull out of. What kind of backwards ass shit is? So you didn't even, so basically you ain't make no money then. Because you didn't fight Conor and you didn't fight Omar. So you didn't do nothing, basically.
Welcome to the Broner Dome.
You know what I have to believe, Jules? Real quick, I have to believe that there's something in the contract where he makes these fighters partners and stakeholders in PBC. So
no,
they
because
can't.
That's best case
here's
scenario.
what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. They can't take fights that go against the if the fight outside the PBC don't benefit the PBC, he can block them because based on what their contract is.
You know what? Whatever it is, it has to be something that wasn't in Mikey's contract. It wasn't in Danny's contract. It wasn't in Artur's contract because most people forget Artur was a PBC fighter for a while. He was. And Artur's beef, coincidentally, which we always talk about, he was mad at Yvonne Michelle. And I've mentioned this before. Yvonne Michelle used to do a lot of business with PBC back when Adonis Stevenson was champion and later Alvarez and those guys. And Artur's beef was he wasn't fighting enough. He wanted to fight He wanted to fight 3 or 4 times a year, and he said that that's what was in his contract, that I'm supposed to get at least 3-4 fights a year, and I'm not fighting that often. So that's more or less how he was able to get away from them. And when I brought that up to the Danny Ramirez moron, it's like, what's your retort, fam? It's the truth. His career didn't start to flourish until he got away from them. That's when his career started to flourish. Danny didn't make real money until he left and went to Matchroom. He got a Canelo fight. Billy Joe Saunders got a Canelo fight. Callum Smith got a Canelo fight. Dimitri Bivol got a Canelo fight. What Charlo got? What Benavidez got? What they about to do? Because Canelo's still with these people for at least another 2 fights. What they going to do for the next year, year and a half? What they going to do?
Foreclosure.
Bankruptcy.
Hey, Jules, I really agree with your deduction, though, man. When you laid it down in your video, man, I mean, it just makes perfect sense that they would do that to Eddie.
Of course, bro. It's the only play they have, because see, for Eddie, the things that's going on in the UK, not really a big deal anymore. Why? This guy's global, so it's not about just catering to one market anymore. But for Frank, it's still local. And he's not just competing with Eddie anymore. Now he's also competing with Ben Shalom and Sky. Sky is a bigger platform than BT. He needs as much content as he can get, because it's like, fam, you was going to do the better BVR fight, right? Well, guess what? That fucking fight got scrapped because Artur got injured. You need another light heavyweight fight. And here's a fight, Pascal versus Buatsi. The question I have is, why did it go to a purse bid in the first place? That's what I want to know. Why did it go to a purse bid? Why wasn't Matchroom able to do that deal to where it doesn't even go to a purse bid?
I'll answer that question. Remember a couple of weeks ago we had on a live where who's our brother from the UK, Will? Mm-hmm. He explained how Matchroom and them are fed up with Buatsi because he's behind the schedule where he should be. And remember you talked about that, Jules? And it's funny how Eddie's taking these L's to them, but like you know how you don't like doing spaces, Jules, really, because you don't make no money off them?
Exactly.
Eddie's prioritizing what's the better deal? Secure this deal for Abu Dhabi in the long term and make money, or worry about this forgettable fight?
Bro, but you know that if you had the Abu Dhabi deal, right, that could have been one of the fights that you brought to Abu Dhabi, because if you're doing a deal in Abu Dhabi, that means that those guys over there are bankrolling the fights. They're the ones paying to bring those fights over there.
Maybe they don't want those UK fight, like we don't know Buatsi, but we know Mexicans will watch Bivol, Ramirez, and then they'll do their do their due diligence, right? If they're giving billions of dollars away.
Now, let me answer this question for Huang. Marv Nation is a small local promotional outfit on the West Coast. They do a lot of shows there, but they're local shows. They're not big shows. You know, it's not on the scale of Top Rank and Matchroom. So when you see that a small local outfit that's really hasn't even been around that long, when you see that they put a bid of $2.4 million, that is very weird and suspicious, because the first question is, well, you don't have a TV deal. Where do you get this money from? Because promoters get their money from the network. Well, you don't have a network backing you. So where you get $2.4 million? Coincidentally.
Can I ask that question?
Go ahead.
Daniel Kinahan.
It could be Daniel, bro, but it could be Golden Boy also, because they co-promote a fighter together.
Behind the scenes, yeah.
They co-promote a fighter together. So maybe the money came from Golden Boy. Maybe the money came from Daniel. Depending on where they distribute the fight, that's how we'll know. If the fight is distributed on FITE TV, okay, that money came from Daniel. And I saw on Twitter, somebody said the Top Rank doesn't want to touch that fight. That kind of tells me that Daniel might be involved. Why? Bob said he don't want to do no business with nothing associated with no Daniel Kinahan. So, you know what I mean?
Even though Zepeda is one of his fighters?
Hold on.
Say it again?
Let's say even though Zepeda is one of his fighters?
It's not one of his fighters. That's what I said. That's what I said in the video I did. Most people think that
I didn't see it. Okay.
Most people think that because Zapata has been fighting on Top Rank shows that he's a Top Rank fighter. It's a natural assumption. Like, you've seen him on Top Rank shows. But in reality, he doesn't have a contract with them. He's only there because they have a good relationship with Zanfer and they like to use him. He doesn't actually have a Top Rank deal. So it's kind of like, why buy the cow when you could get the milk for free? You know what I mean? We get a good fighter. We ain't got no commitment to him. He ain't got no guaranteed minimum we got to pay him. And they letting us use him.
Okay, so I was under the impression that Cepeda was associated with Marv Nation since he's from LA.
No, that's the thing. He don't have nothing to do with Marv Nation. He's a Zanfer fighter. The only one of them that's with a quote unquote promoter, like promoter, is Regis. He's with Bellum. He's a Bellum fighter.
And that's what Zanfer does. If you want a fighter that's from Mexico, that doesn't get scooped up by Golden Boy or was with Canelo, you got to go through Zanfer because they got
fighters, they got shooters over there. So it's a fun little situation. Don't get me wrong. But when you see they moving the way that they moving, Frank and Bob, and just if it's a lot of weird shit happening, do you know why that is? It's because this man is doing big deals. This dude just did over $100 million fight in Saudi Arabia. Now he strikes a deal for a series of fights over there in the UAE, over there in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and all of that bullshit.
Yep.
It's the only way they can compete is to fight for the scraps.
Hey, Jules, most of the guys in the PBC, stuff's going on and this and that. With Broner, he's just mentally all over the map. I think he's just because he's got mental issues, man.
I think Broner is this close to blowing the whistle on Al because he has these outbursts periodically throughout. Yeah. Like if you pay attention, this dude, it ain't nothing weird to hear him come at either Stephan Espinoza or Al Heyman, but there's probably a disparagement clause. Drew, I'm sure you know about those non-disparagement clause that he can't say certain shit without ending up in some shit. But he probably want to say, look, like, yo, y'all fucking me out a lot of money. You know what I mean? Y'all fucking me out a lot of bread. They offered me the Pacquiao fight in 2015, and I didn't take it. But when they offered me to fight, it was for more bread. It was for more bread up front and a pay-per-view upside. Y'all didn't let me take it. By the time I do fight Pacquiao, it's for this old peanut-ass amount of money. You see what I mean? So y'all literally violating the Ali Act that you are not operating within good faith for this fighter. You're literally having this fighter turn down deals that are for more money that you can give him to keep him on your side of things. And no, that's not right because look at Adam Kovnowski. That man turned down, what, $6 million to fight Anthony Joshua for 3 belts so he could end up getting his motherfucking ass beat up and down the ring by Robert Helenius?
Yeah, he should have took that because he was going to get his ass beat either way. I mean,
by the way, Jules, by the way,
got some money.
By the way, question about Connect, like, do you know how much he was going to get for the Chisora fight?
It was supposed to be a 7-figure deal. Now I don't know the exact number, but okay. I'm gonna assume it was at least for $1 million. I'm not gonna assume it was 2, 3, 4, 5 million. No, nothing crazy like that. But at least $1 million because Eddie Hearn said it was a 7-figure deal. I figure it's on the low end of 7 figures, maybe 1, maybe 1.5. I don't think he was gonna get 2 for fighting Chisora. And look at him now though. Got your ass beat by Helenius 2 times, and now you just got your ass beat by Demirezin for what, a few $100,000? It's unethical because you could have just as easily got your ass beat by Derek, but it would have been for 7 figures. You could have got your ass beat by AJ, but it would have been for millions. You getting your ass beat for a few $100,000 just so that Al's content stays on Fox. And I said this in another video that if Fox wants exclusivity, you have to pay for that because that's how it's supposed. You have to pay for that. If you saying, "Oh, I can't have this fighter going over here," okay, then pay for that because that's how it is with AJ. When AJ was with Scott, they had exclusivity. That's why he couldn't take the fake $50 million because he's exclusively on Scott. He can't go nowhere. If you saying that, "Oh, Adam can't take offers from nobody else," are you compensating him in any way for that? Are you compensating Wilder? Are you compensating all these fighters that turned down millions upon millions upon millions of dollars? Are you compensating them? You know the answer. No.
Well, Jules, some of these fighters are also not being told. I mean, look what happened to Ortiz, even though it was his management team. He had a deal to fight AJ and they turned it down for him. He didn't even know.
And what I speculate is that it's not just the small promotional outfits like Samson Lukowicz and that guy that looks like Elvis at Manny Pacquiao promotion, Sean Gibbons. the managers are in cahoots, and that's what makes it unethical. If Candace is my manager and Drew is the promoter that has the deal with the network, she is supposed to operate in my best interest. She's supposed to say, look, if they got $7 million for Julius at the zone, then we going to the zone. Unless you gonna give us $7 million, we going to the zone. That's what's supposed to happen. What is happening is, instead of Candace looking out for me, Drew throw Candace a little bit of money. Yo, keep him over here, man. Don't let him go over there. Keep him over here. That's what's going on. The managers are in cahoots with the promoters to make sure the fighters don't go nowhere. And the fighters are missing out on big money, but I'd wager the managers that are supposed to act on the fighters' behalf, they're getting kickbacks. They're getting financial incentives to make sure the fighters don't leave, because it doesn't make sense. If you have a manager that's supposed to be guiding your career for you and handling business, why on earth would you turn down $6 million to fight on FS1 with Chris Arreola? On what planet does that make sense?
So not only do we have managers in cahoots with, just the promotional outfit, now we also got, because I was thinking the same thing that Drew said. It's like there could be something in the contracts of these fighters that's preventing them from taking these paydays. So it could be that too. It could be both.
It could be something in the writing, but when you put something in writing, a fighter with a little bit of brain cells, take that contract to another lawyer. And can you look over this and tell me what it says? Can you look, and they'll pay them. Can you look over this and tell me what it says? Or sometimes a lawyer will do it pro bono. What I think more than that, it's not that it's in the contract. It's that the managers are in cahoots with the fighters to make the managers are in cahoots with the promoters where they should not be. And they're keeping those fighters there, even though they know you're costing these fighters a lot of money. You're probably getting money to do that, but the fighters don't benefit from it. And that's what
Jules, can I ask you this question though? But then again, you have to look at it this way, mainly managers get what, like 10%, depending on some 20, some 10.
Hit the nail on the head, so I'll say it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So take 10% of what, $7 million or thing that AJ was offering Ortiz or Kaunaki, 6-7 million. 10% of that, bro, is how much?
10% of 7 million, ain't that what, 700,000?
Yeah, I would
have.
70,000. 700,000. That's what I'm saying.
700,000.
So you're telling me the PBC are paying that much to the managers to keep the boxes on? So that way, that doesn't make sense as well.
I believe it's a few $100,000 at a time. I don't think it's an exorbitant number like that, but I do think it's a regular stream of income, regular enough that they're not willing to gamble sending that fighter over there. I don't think it's 700,000 like that. What if it's 100,000 over like every month? Because this is regular. Wow. This is regular. Yeah, it's regular that these fighters are turning down insane amounts of money, and they're being told that the money's not real, but the money was real enough for Danny Jacobs. Yep. The money was real enough for Andy Ruiz. It was real enough for Mikey Garcia. It was real enough for Oscar Rivas. He literally stopped from signing his top-ranked contract because they offered him over $1 million to fight Dillian White. But you got Davis saying, nah, they talking, they not serious. Bro, how you figure they not serious? They were serious with Jose Ramirez. He got over $4 million for a Maurice Hooker fight. It don't get better than that. So something going on over there, man. And that ain't news. I've been saying that. They're like, the way these guys move, they are being talked out of fights. And it doesn't make sense because you could be making more money.
It's at this point, it's making you wonder what's really going on with the PBC, man.
Yeah, right. I mean, just to add to that, at this point, how come they don't just stage a fucking revolt, like a fucking mutiny at this point?
I don't think they're smart enough to do that.
They're not smart enough, I know, but
I don't think they can.
That's why you kind of like need like union leadership at some point.
I mean, look, a fighter, and I don't knock them because different people have to be different. We need all the different things that are around. Some people are thinkers, some people are business savvy, yada, 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 Fighters fight. Fighters ain't business guys all the time. So I understand that. The problem is they have people, and this has always been the bane of boxing. You have people that are supposed to be acting on your behalf, but they're looking out for themselves. They're supposed to be looking out for you, but they're looking out for themselves.
That's the thing. Human nature. Too many people are too individualistic for unionism. That's why unions don't work so well these days, because everybody's worried about themselves and they're not willing to stick together to get.
I mean, that's a perceived notion. Like, okay, that man is flawed. Okay, but like, if you have enough compassion and have like relative problems with certain people, like, you're gonna have to galvanize a certain point.
Well, you know what? But people don't, because like I worked at a, for instance, I worked at a bus.
Because people are atomized.
I worked at a bus company. I was a union rep, and we had a bad contract at the time, and I tried to get people together to unionize. I tried to hold a meeting. Only 8 people out of like the 100-something plus drivers showed up. Nobody wanted to do anything, but yet they would come to me and ask me to help them. But nobody wanted to stick together and do anything.
It's the consequences, bro. It's the way unions are in this state country. You can fucking forget about unionizing. They will fucking fire you if you try to unionize. They will that's what people are afraid of. So when you think about that, when you apply that to boxing, maybe the fighters are afraid of what might happen. Like, man, I don't want to get shelved, even though if you are,
because they're afraid of like scab fighters. Like, they'll probably find somebody off the street to fight.
The difference is the bus company, though, you had to join the union in order to work for them, so that was the difference. But just nobody was sticking together. Nobody.
Look, I had union jobs up the wazoo when I was up north in the city, because unions are run of the mill in New York City, or at least they were when I was there. I moved further south. Oh, they don't like unions down here, bro.
No,
they don't like these.
Well,
they don't
south
like
to south. I mean,
and if you stay union, you might get fired.
Yeah,
lack of education, and fear and intimidation is a perfect storm to defeat unions, man.
Yeah. PBC Premier bribing crooks. Shout out to Boxing Gems, who says that Gary Russell Jr. quote saying 1 million wasn't his level was a head scratcher. Something's up and it's not benefiting fight fans. More importantly, it's not benefiting fighters. For Gary Russell, remember, he was made that offer at the beginning of that year. He didn't even fight. He didn't fight. So you go in there, right? So you go in. This was before the Mark Pacquiao fight. He was made the Josh Warrington offer when Josh still had the red belt, because Eddie wanted to do a unification match. So this is before Mauricio Lara whooped his ass. This is before the IBF ordered the Galahad fight. They offered him that, and he said, "Oh no, that's beneath me. But getting your ass beat by Mark Pacquiao a year later is not."
For how much?
Bro, I don't even know. But if you want my honest opinion, that man didn't get $1 million for that fight.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did at all.
He didn't get $1 million for that fight. No fucking way.
Yeah. What's up, Leo?
Hello, guys.
Yo. The main thing that the Muhammad Ali Act, in essence, it's supposed to prevent things like that from happening. That if you have a manager and he's not a very honest guy, that you have that protection, that you have a fiduciary duty to act on my behalf and get me the best deal. You have a fiduciary duty to do that. And there's so many ways to get around it in boxing. Like, bro, boxing is the ultimate arena to launder some money and just do some crooked ass shit. You know how much fucking money you could launder in boxing? You can cook your own books whenever you feel like it. Who the fuck will tell me?
That's why.
Look who used to control the boxing in the past, though, the mob.
Why you think?
That says it all right there.
Why you think?
And was in this business.
It's perfect. Look. I'll do a fight. Virtuoso versus Leo at some made up fucking arena. I cooked the shit out them books. If only 5 people showed up, I'm a lie. Each one of them 5 tickets was $500,000. You gonna tell me? You gonna tell me what I sell my tickets for?
Yep.
Cook the shit out these books, bro.
Eventually, they're gonna come under fire with SEC filings, but
because I would say
it's like they don't want to touch it because it's like they what they fear is like over regulation. That's what it is. Like they don't want to be regulated. Like, oh, the government's in control. I don't want this to happen, so they got to put on a smiley face for this. But
the people that have been receiving kickbacks, like you'll notice that there seems to be a conscious effort from the WBC to keep that green belt out of certain hands. You know what I mean? Yep. The people that are receiving kickbacks, they want things to stay this way because they get kickbacks. They like it. It's like, have you ever worked at a place that was about to close? It's the greatest fucking thing. You can do what you want. Go in the freezer, bust a couple of nuts, steal some shit, eat some food.
Jules. When I worked in security, when I put in my 2 weeks notice, like I didn't give a shit for those 2 weeks. I didn't give a damn because I'm leaving anyway.
Jules, what are
you gonna do? You gonna fire me?
You just described, it's the last 5 years of Action Park.
You're gonna fire me from the job that I'm quitting in a week?
This dude said nothing in a freezer.
You can do all type of shit, yo. And that's kind of like how boxing is, that it's so fucked up and so unregulated, and there's really no baseline for anything because everybody just makes up things as they go along. You guys know the sanctioning bodies; they make up their rules as they go along, bro. They
do. They really do.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if you guys knew this. Shout out to Sport and Icons because I was on Lady Chan's panel yesterday. Right, he made an appearance. He said that the Ortiz Ruiz fight and the Wilder Helenius fight are both eliminators, and whoever wins the beat a fighter. So the WBC belt is going back to PBC Island.
Yeah,
and honestly,
what they want.
I think Wilder's going to get it back. I really do.
More than likely. Look, like if Fury wins, then Wilder won't get the belt. Then maybe we get Joshua versus Fury.
You think he'll stick around to fight him? You think he'll stick around to fight him?
Maybe. I think he will. I think because it's a big money fight. But if Usyk wins, if Usyk beats Fury, bro, that dude's retiring.
He's gonna retire. He's gonna retire.
And then the belt goes right back to the PBC. And it'll probably be another.
It'll probably go right back to the same shit show.
Yep.
Yeah, literally the same shit. We're gonna be back in the same shit.
Watch. Usyk retires, the belt goes vacant. Then when they put on, if Wilder and Ruiz win, that's gonna be for the vacant title.
As good as Usyk is, he's in the way.
He's in. I mean, it's a fucked up situation, but it's that in a nutshell, they don't want it to be a sport that is governed and has structure and a hierarchy like other sports, because if it does, then there's not as much room for the crooked shit. You know, the NFL is fake crooked. Like, yeah, they go to the masseuse that also gives you a happy ending. And yeah, you know, sometimes you steal a couple of plays from the playbook. But man alive, that ain't boxing, bro. Boxing is a crooked, bent motherfucker. The most bent sport in all organized sports. It's the most disorganized, which leaves room for shady characters like Daniel Kinahan, which I ain't mad at. Huh? I don't give a fuck if you sold a little bit of hair on, to tell you the truth. I don't give a shit.
Right, man. If boxing was a dude in a porno flick, he'd be the one with the crooked dick.
Holy shit.
I have a question. Okay. AJ is now a free agent. I mean, he doesn't have a...
No, he's not a free agent.
I mean, it's not a free agent. It's not a champion anymore. He doesn't have...
But he has no more pressure.
He can do whatever he wants.
That's correct.
Okay. Do you see there is a chance maybe that AJ says, fuck it, I go now for the WBC route?
No.
He could.
He could.
Do I think he will? No.
Why?
Because the people that he would have to fight by way of the WBC's ranked standings are on a side of the street where they won't fight him. Mm-hmm. Who's the number one contender? Who's the number one contender in the WBC?
It's Wilder, right?
Bingo!
The businessman.
Who's number
the
two?
Businessman.
No, wait. Who did Eddie Hearn contact a little over a week ago to start a dialogue for a fight?
Shelly Finkel.
Businessman. The businessman,
right?
Yep.
And did Shelly Finkel get back to him?
Nope.
There you go.
Okay. You know who number 2 is?
Number 2, I believe, is Joe Joyce. Number 3, I believe, is Joseph Parker. Number 4, I believe, is Andy Ruiz. Number 5, I believe, is Frank Martin. At least the last time I looked at the ranks.
Number 10 is Helenius.
But I mean, is it clear? It is clear that Wilder is not gonna take that fight willingly.
I mean, he's not, bro. Look at where we are. They don't even have belts anymore, and he's still not answering calls.
Okay, but if Wilder gets that WBC title, there is a chance that AJ can force a situation to
Listen, Leo. So
Leo,
you're expecting one second. So you're expecting the WBC to do Eddie Hearn a favor and push Deontay Wilder to face AJ. Do you really
hell no, they ain't gonna do that shit.
Hey, I'll tell you.
Hell no.
Look, I told you, Leo, they not gonna fight, bro. It's not. No, this is what's going on, and I haven't gotten a chance to say this on any live or any relay that I've done. Right, the way things are looking. Listen, the way things are looking. He knocks out Hellenius. If Ruiz knocks out Ortiz, obviously they're gonna make Wilder versus Ruiz. If Wilder knocks out Ruiz, you know what they're hoping? Oh, we don't need AJ anymore because we knocked out the man that beat him. That's what they're gonna say. That's what the story's gonna become. What do we need with AJ for? I just knocked out Ruiz.
And then who are they gonna fight?
Yep, exactly. That'll be an excuse right there not to fight him.
That'll be the excuse that they like. We don't need AJ. We knocked out the man that trampled him. That's what it's gonna become. That's why if Ortiz wins, it's not so bad because it's like, well, you won't have that motherfucker to lean on. You ain't gonna have Ruiz to lean on.
This is why I want. It's like even though I'm not picking Ruiz and Helene, I want them to upset the apple cart, please. Like that'll just.
I love when that shit happens. Shout out to MA. 5 for the live. I got Ruiz by KO. Then I got Hellenius by UD. Then it'll be Wilder versus Ruiz for the WBC. That's boxing.
That's the bullshit.
Fuck around, fuck around like Wilder will lose the fight and still get the title shot.
I'm gonna tell you what, boxing is that uncle in the family that steals shit, but you love him. That's boxing. Boxing is that uncle in the family that steals shit, that do a bunch of dumb shit, but you still fuck
Julian,
yep, exactly.
I have an uncle that used to work with me, and always used to every other day 50, 60 pounds out the till, always missing. But I know him. But I love him. I can't say anything to him.
That's what I'm saying. That's what boxing is. Like when I think about all the shit that Bob Arum does, the shit that Bob Arum says, or just the shit that goes on, I'm like, boxing is really like that family member that does dumb shit and gets on your nerves, but you still fuck with them because it's family. You know what I mean? That's
says the best counterpunch boxing news. He goes, boxing is the sport that I love, that I hate so much. Oh, that I hate, that I love so much.
That you love to hate, that you hate to love.
That you love to hate to love. I don't know about that fight. Danny's Dimensions wanted to ask, how do you guys feel about Plant versus Darrell? Who do you think wins that fight?
Plant.
I think Plant.
Not the fans.
I got Caleb on points. Got Caleb on points.
Yeah.
Because the way I'm gonna say this, you not supposed to struggle with Avni Yildirim, and I ain't forget that 3 years ago, bro. Darrell was struggling with Avni Yildirim.
Eubank Jr. knocked him smooth out.
Yeah, yo, he got knocked out by a domestic level dude not that long ago. Like a little over a year.
Yeah.
He got knocked. I'm like, yo, why you really fighting with Avni Yildirim, bro? You a former champion. You supposed to do this.
He's been on a losing streak lately. Not got stopped and got lost on points. So it's, I don't know what's up with Avni, but yeah, he's struggling with that dude.
Could be that he off the sauce. Also, remember he tested positive for.
Yeah, he did. I remember. Yep, he did. That's probably why.
How's AJ not ranked in WBC? This makes no sense to me.
Because Eddie didn't pay him. That's why.
He don't pay them.
It's political, man. It's political.
No, it's not that. It's that they not on that route.
Hey,
you gotta pay. It's kind of like it's kind of like you gotta pay to register, and then they'll put
membership
where they feel you need to be at.
Because I remember like a similar situation where like when Canelo was going to challenge Sergey Kovalev right for his belt, he was nowhere to be found in the WBO rankings. Out of nowhere, I look, he's like number one.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to add about boxing, another reason why we love it is because it brings all of us characters together that otherwise we might not have ever crossed paths.
Yeah, I mean, when boxing is good, right? When boxing is good, it's great. When boxing is good. When it's good, it's like it's great. You know what I mean? Because I just caught the Taylor versus Serrano highlights of the 10th round. I was like, man, that was a hell of a fucking fight, bro.
Hopefully we get a rematch one day.
We probably won't, but I could live with that. But and when boxing is good, it's great. But a lot of the time, it sucks. It does suck.
No, Julius. Let's be honest now. Let's put it this way: boxing is only good when it's matchroom. And it's shit when it's the PBC.
Look. Let's be. I'm fair. Charlo versus Castaño 2 and 1 were good fights. They were.
Yes, they were.
They were. They were good fights. Damn, what's another show I seen this year that it was? I liked it when Jerwin Ancajas got the shit beat out of him. I really
that was a good fight too. That was
because I'm sick of him and I'm tired of his ass. So I liked it that. I ain't think Hector Garcia was gonna do that. I really didn't think Hector Garcia was going to do that to Chris Colbert. It was a good fight. Like, it was like, bro, I was not expecting that. I really thought Chris.
No one saw that coming. No one saw that coming. Chris got his ass beat.
Exactly. I really
thought
liked
it when the Gary Russell left.
Oh, he got embarrassed, man.
With Gary,
boxing has ways to reward you, and then has ways to really hurt your fucking soul, man. Like, it really is a cool mistress, man.
Boy, it's a hell of a ride.
You know, I'm gonna say this: like, people that do pay for pay-per-views, especially the lower quality tiers, like, they're most likely pay for OnlyFans accounts that only show bikini photo shoots.
Bro,
that's basically
look, when that dude, listen, check this shit, right? It's a dude I was talking to on Twitter, right? And he was trying to trash Canelo versus Golovkin 3. But in the same breath, he tell me that he gonna pay for Ruiz versus Ortiz. And the parallel you just gave, that's the perfect parallel. In an era where porn is free. Remember, when we were young, porn wasn't free. You had to get a VHS, or you had to go through the embarrassing shit of going to the thing and getting the titty magazine. Bro, porn is free now. Why would you pay for OnlyFans? Porn is free. XShare, Pornhub, it's all out there. It's all for you, bro. And you out here paying for OnlyFans. You a bozo. And if you buying Ruiz versus Ortiz, you a bozo.
Yep.
Something wrong with you.
You might as well give your money to a fucking televangelist, bro.
Motherfucker, like you gotta be fucking stupid, bro. Like, fam, look, there's pay-per-views out there that it's like, but are you really gonna give these people $80 for that fight? No. When you getting title fights for free, you getting fights with prime fighters that's in shape. You willing to pay for a 53-year-old man and an obese boxer that has only fought once in the last 2 years? You an idiot then. Something wrong with you. Ain't no way to explain that.
It's a good fight. It's a good fight, but it's not pay-per-view worthy.
There you go. And I said that. Ortiz versus Ruiz is actually not a bad fight, but it belongs on Fox. It doesn't belong on a paywall. It belongs on Fox, regular Fox, where everybody could watch it. And I'm pretty sure if it were on regular Fox, it would do over 1 million views. It would.
Yeah, it would. They have to. Him and Showtime, they got to go back to terrestrial television. Like CBS, you're guaranteed to get millions of views. Fox, you're guaranteed to get millions of views.
Virtuoso, read that.
Do you know
Brandon Lee has an OnlyFans?
No.
Oh yeah, so does Chris Colbert, but I'm not. It's weird. I don't get it. Even Tay Jones had one.
Yeah, but what the fuck? Like, fam, you don't have fans. So what?
You got only stands.
Literally.
That's what you
literally. Like, by the way, Danny Garcia.
Who's going to subscribe to Brandon Lee's OnlyFans? The dudes on Twitter that always big up the PBC shit? Yeah. Like the BV guy and the Heyman's Planet guy? Is those who want to see that shit?
I heard Danny Garcia's got one too, and he put his daughter's birth on there. Like, bro,
I'm not. I want to watch your wife pussy expanding when the head come out. Like, what kind of sick shit?
Julius, make a shirt.
Jules, you see the look on your face,
only fans? You got no fans. Make a shirt.
Like, look, I done been through 2 childbirths, and I'm like, why would you want people looking at your wife's vagina, her ass crack expanding, and purple things, and placenta, and why would you want people to see that on OnlyFans?
I know, man. That's like,
I'm not even gonna watch my own child coming out my wife's vagina, bro. Let alone anybody else's, bro. That's traumatizing. Fuck that.
I'll be like, y'all, just let me know when to cut the cord. I'll be over here.
Yeah. Like. I could I can't even understand that, to be real. Like, yo, like, for paying for OnlyFans, porn is free, you fucking degenerate. It's free. Violet Myers, Mia Khalifa, Chastity Lane, all that good shit. It's all out
Alexis,
there.
Texas.
Alexis Texas, Super Cameron Steffens, all that good shit is out there for you. And you know, I got a OnlyFans.
I got my list of free websites.
Man, I don't understand. And I don't have to. I'm old. I don't have to understand. It's just like when that Southpaw shit happened, bro. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you. I'm gonna kick you the fuck out. I'm old. I'm gonna cut to the chase and I'm gonna kick you the fuck out. I don't have time for that dumb shit. What kind of idiot? When porn is free, no matter where you look, you're gonna subscribe to somebody's OnlyFans.
Dude, generally, what's that guy's problem? Like, is he mentally alright, or he has some?
No, I think he's I look. There was a crackhead. Now he doesn't. This guy doesn't look like a crackhead. When I was young, there was a crackhead around the neighborhood, and he used to act just the same everything, the same, all of that, just all that dumb shit. The difference is they beat the shit out that man, and I think they killed him. So that's the difference. That's the difference. That he finally pissed off the wrong people. See, he was a guy who went up. The guy I'm talking about, he was a guy who went away for a long time, and you know he's like a Billy Badass type dude. Like he had a reputation. He's like a live wire. When he came back, and he was away for a long time, he came back as a crackhead. And not everybody knew that. They're like, yo, this dude, even though people close to him, like, yo, this dude be wilding, like he a fucking crackhead. And then I remember that he got some Oyes to front him some work. And the last thing I remember is that an Oye had came to the block and he recognized his bike. He took his bike and he literally picked the shit up and bent the shit like on some Man of Steel shit. He said, tell so-and-so we looking for him. And that's the last thing I remember about the dude. Fast forward a couple of months, because I was doing a lot of things around that time and I wasn't hanging around as much. I think I was in college at that time. I wasn't hanging around as much. And I came back and the last thing I heard, oh, they killed that motherfucker. Like, who killed him?
Oh,
he dead.
Yeah.
Like,
damn.
oh.
God forbid, bro. Something's gonna happen to this guy if he doesn't fix the fuck up.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna wish nothing on him, because what you put out there, it comes back. All that crazy shit on the internet for the sake of the internet, some people can't tell the difference. Like, I see him, like, bro, you don't look like a crackhead. You look like a meth head. Maybe you're a heroin addict. I know he's on some kind of drug. I know something's wrong with him. And it all catches up, so I don't have to wish bad on that guy. Like, I know that something is not right with that dude. That's like, he looked like he older than me. I don't know if he is, but he looked like he 40-something. And it's like, yo, you come on here every day acting like a fucking idiot, bro.
Which dude is this, Jules?
It's some jackass named Southpaw.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
69 Shift. Ain't that his name? Southpaw 69 Shift?
Yeah.
So Jules, you reposted the clip, right? Where you kicked him off?
I remember something.
Yeah, like he be lying. Like 1 minute he in LA, then the next minute he in Chi, and I'm like, look, man, I don't even know if I believe you in Chicago, because quiet as kept, if you was, you'd be dead by now.
Didn't he have like his own YouTube channel or something?
No, listen, he got a lot of subscribers, bro. He got a channel, but that's more people that's gonna recognize you in the street.
Wait, how is Canelo a duck?
Yeah, that dude was a trip. He came on here talking all kinds of smack. It was just like, what?
No, he didn't, because I cut his ass off before he got the chance.
You kicked him off. You said, like, if you cussed and all he did was say 2 words, all right, I ain't got time for your
Hey, Jules, I was on the panel for that. I was expecting him to come on and fry him, but obviously he didn't have the energy.
My kids was right there, and I'm like, nah, see, I ain't do it. Like, and I'm old.
And then
like,
he goes,
gotta be mindful of the kids.
He goes, why are you swearing? And he goes, motherfucker, is my plan.
Because it's my motherfucking house. I swear if the fuck I want to, but some fucking clown cursing at me on the end, like, nah, see, we're not doing that, bro. Look, somebody gonna get you. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, dude had said a bunch of stuff in the chat before you actually caught attention of him, man.
I didn't even know if that was really him, but every time somebody pop up in the chat, it do end up being them. Like it really be them. Like, I don't know. This is not a big channel. It's not a big channel.
Like the person who claims to be Michaela Bear. Like, you think that's really her?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, but hey, Jules, you know what? They find you though, even though it's not a big channel. They find you. They're good.
They search, and they love giving you money, like saying that they want to bet with you.
Yeah, like that fucking thing.
Don't say his name. Don't say his name until he doesn't pay.
Fucking geniuses out here, but real shit, look, man.
You don't want to bet, though.
Look, when you do shit like that, right? It's getting to the point. I understand that because I'm from an older generation, and so are many of you. Our reality is not the reality of this youth. They view these things very differently. I look at the internet as a form of entertainment and revenue. That's it. But these young kids, they look at it differently. They might fuck around and blow a motherfucking head off some shit in the internet. They might, yeah. Motherfucker, you might say some shit to somebody, and then they see you, and then they motherfucking stretch you. It happens all the time. It was happening before the internet. It'll still be happening after the internet.
Yeah.
So keep it up, bro. Just keep it up. Keep doing your thing. Somebody gonna get you. If you really in Chicago, you already on borrowed time. Unless you live in the basement and stay in the basement. You already on borrowed time.
Jules, could I get you?
I wouldn't drive through Chicago, man. Fuck that shit.
Right.
Fuck
Yo,
that.
Jules, could I get your take on an upcoming fight?
Which one?
We got let's see, we got Michael Byers versus Laurie Strode. Who you got in that fight? And does it sell out?
Beat, but I think it's gonna be a draw because I think she gonna die. I think she gonna die. I think that's gonna be it. Like that's how they gonna finish it. That they both go out because fam, they killed her daughter in the last one.
I know. Oh,
Laura Linney, I think her name. They fucking killed her, bro. Like that shit was fucked up too. Cause I'm curious as to what is Michael, because they beat the shit out of him in that alley. And he got up and didn't die. Him up. They shot him.
Oh, we're talking about Halloween. Yeah, they beat the shit out of him.
I'm like, and he got up and fucked her up the whole time. And I'm like, what the hell? Okay, what is it? Is this dude human? What the hell is going on here?
Bro, look, because that version of Halloween, it didn't really look like some supernatural shit. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like there's versions of Halloween where you're like, yo, what the fuck is this guy?
Well, what am I watching? Like, you're like,
yeah,
but are you guys fucking talking about a movie?
Yeah, man, this fucking guy, maybe.
I got serious. What?
I have a question about the Halloween movies. I never watched them really, but I always hear people talking about Michael Myers. There isn't any clue in the movies about his origin story, what he really is.
Yes. See, and there's different versions of Michael Myers, right? There's like 4 different versions. There's the original, there's the Rob Zombie, there are a couple of spin-offs, but in a nutshell, what he was, his backstory is he was a very disturbed child. He used to torture animals, right? He's that kind of kid.
Right.
And whatever's whatever, because in every version of the story it's the same. He killed someone when he was very young, and he was sent away to an asylum that he grew up in. He grew up in an asylum. So he finally breaks free, and he starts looking for his family members. That's basically that's the crux of all of them. He's always chasing his family members.
Leo, the only Myers Jews like is Violet.
That is true. I wouldn't let Michael in my house, but I'd let Violet in the house.
Hey, Jules, by the way, man, that was a great live you had the other day, man, the other morning, man. That went really well.
Oh, no, yeah, it was, you know what I'm saying? I like fucking doing the Q&As, man.
Man, they did Zarina dirty, man. That's fucked up.
Her personality was great, though. I mean, for the live, it just was a really good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, she talented. If she wasn't talented, I wouldn't follow her. It's a lot of up and comers, a lot of unbeaten up and comers. But I try to focus on the ones that I feel are gonna go somewhere. Like if you look at all the old videos I used to do from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, you're gonna see Michaela Mayer. You're going to see Alicia Baumgartner. You're going to see Jessica McCaskill. All the fighters that I said, they're like, nah, watch. They good. Like, they going to do some shit. Fast forward. Look at where they at now.
Man, forget Bruce Trampler, man. Top Rank need to scoop you up as the matchmaker.
Scoop me up, yo. Give me some goddamn money. I can kill people. I can bury bodies. Shit. Leave me out. I'll hide the bodies in the desert. All that good shit.
By the way, Jules, you think you'll reach out to Alicia for one more interview before the fight?
I might try, because I know that she hasn't gone off to the UK yet. I'm kind of waiting for her to go to the UK, because she's probably busy right now. I'm waiting until, like, maybe she gets settled in, because I know Michaela over there already, but I don't think Alicia over there already.
Got you.
which is type grimy though. Why is Michaela over there and Alicia not?
Well, she's running.
Why are they not putting the show on the road like the press conference?
I'm just saying that being jet lagged is a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Michaela already over there, so she ain't gonna be jet lagged. She already over there, but you know what I mean? At least you're not over there yet. I'm like, why? At least you're not over there yet.
I guess we never got a glove to Raw.
Yeah, go ahead.
I never guess we never got a Raw between those.
You know, if you work your hours like depending on, say in the UK, currently right now it's 3 a.m. So clock it back to wherever. So at 10 p.m. UK time, just go sleep wherever time it is in America and wake up in the morning. I don't think jet lag.
That's what she would have to do to prevent from being jet lagged. But you know that people have internal clocks too because of when they normally go to bed, their normal routine. So everybody's is fucking different, bro.
But that's the God's honest truth. I mean, every time I go to bed, I wake up after 4 or 5 hours. Seriously.
Yeah. I don't even get a full 8. I get about 5 or 6, and that's all I need. But I get about 5 or 6. I don't get 8.
Yeah, especially if you got your internal clock, what you're used to waking up at a certain time. It's like even if you don't, on your day off, your internal clock will force you to wake up at that time, man.
It is. I'll be honest with you. And also because I take naps in the afternoon, that don't help the shit.
By the way, let me ask y'all this question right quick. Like, I know there's internal clocks, but like, have you ever guys like just instinctively guessed what the time was? You look on the clock and it's like you say it's like 10:30, and it's actually 10:30.
Yeah,
that's happened. Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah.
And then I'll be honest, there's been time since the last time I went on holiday to Turkey that I had good sleep. When I come back, bro, I don't think I've slept more than 3 hours every other day. I take a good 10-minute nap every other day, but I don't sleep much. Maybe 2 hours, 3 hours every day.
Me, it was because of the gig. One of the gigs that I used to work, even though I haven't worked there in a long time, my internal clock from having worked that gig is still with me. That's why I get up so early.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's still on me. Like I could sleep in if I felt like it. I just don't. I choose to get up. My body wakes me up, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna get up. Why not?
Same with me. I work grave shift. It's like, and even when the days on my days off, it's like I still, I still stay up all night. I don't go to sleep.
Oh man, grave's a pain in the butt to deal with until you get used to it.
It's hard for my body to reset, so it's like, all right, let me just stay up all fucking night,
I ain't going front. I worked grave for I'm gonna say during the pandemic, I was working afternoons and grave alternating. I love grave. I love that shit.
Oh God, yes, sir.
I love that shit.
You got privacy, man.
You got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Hell motherfucking yeah. Like, and I would go to sleep. It ain't like I'd go to sleep. I'll set an alarm. I'll sleep for a half hour, get up, check the doors, check the hallways, do my shit, and then go back to sleep.
Yep.
Yeah, it was about a couple years ago. I was doing security, and I basically just slept in the job.
Real shit. That was. I love, I don't know how the shutdown was for everybody else, but it was great for me. Like, man, shit, I love that shit. That shit was like, it was like The Stand. Y'all remember The Stand where everybody caught the virus and shit, devil, all that shit.
Yeah.
It was like that.
That's the show, right? That's the show, right?
But not the old one, not the new one.
Okay,
old one. Will says, look up for Mr. Ballin sometime if you're looking for a good horror story. That's how I found out the Scream movie was based on a true story. All right, I'll look that shit up. I love horror movies. But, just back to the boxing. The Marv Nation thing is weird. And like I said, for anybody that's wondering about that, where the money came from, we'll find that out depending on what platform it goes to. If it goes to the Zone, the money came from Golden Boy. If it goes to like a Fight TV or some shit like that, that's Kinahan money. That's what money that is.
You think it's gonna be like a pay-per-view?
Yeah, if they put it on Fight.
Yeah.
Quick question: where is Kinahan? Everything is like very down low now. Nobody's talking about him.
So, Wab, didn't I tell you months ago? Ain't nothing gonna happen. You levying U.S. sanctions. On a criminal in Dubai, right? And he does most of his business in Europe, not America. So them sanctions ain't about shit.
Right, they ain't gonna do nothing.
But apparently what happened? Dubai, didn't they seize his bank accounts or some shit? But it looks like all of that died down, bro.
Bro, I told you, I said it like motherfuckers don't want to understand that I am the criminal, bro. right? And I said nothing is gonna happen.
You are Kinahan. We know that, bro.
What if I told you I am Daniel Kinahan? And the dude, what if I told you I'm Daniel Kinahan, and the dude they keep taking pictures of is my cousin? What if I told you that?
That's a decoy.
The whole time
it's
it was
a decoy.
fucking body double. God damn.
It's all part of your alien secret communist plot, Jules.
Yeah, yo, Kinahan, give me a job, bro.
I told
y'all. Work for you.
I am Kaza Soze, bro.
Yo, but yeah, I just want to add real quick about what Drew super chatted about the corporate espionage. Bro, it was just this year that I just learned about a fucking blind bid, and now that I'm hearing this shit that it only took 100,000.
You didn't know that the bid was? Let me explain it to you, Virtuoso. Most people thought that the purse bid was, for those that don't know, for those that might not have known, the purse bid is not like an auction to where 25, 25, 35, 35. It's not like that. It's a blind bid. They come in with an envelope for what they think the fight is worth. Each promoter, you have to pay a deposit just to participate. You have to pay a deposit to the sanctioning body, but it's one bid. It's not 25, 25, 35, 35. It's not like that. It's one bid and it's a blind bid. Yeah. And the reason I said it's weird is because, look, a lot of the times where there have been purse bids, you see that the differences are somewhat dramatic. Where Eddie Hearn priced White versus Fury at, I remember, 32 million, Frank put it at 41. It wasn't even close. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yep. There was another bid. Right. Today's bid. Marv Nation priced the fight at 2 times the amount that the PBC priced it. PBC priced it at 1.2. Marv Nation priced it at 2.4. That's 2 times the money, right? So when you look at Lou's shit with Eddie, yo, you only paid 100,000, exactly 100,000 more.
That's what I mean, bro. It's like, I think Lou was given a cheat sheet on how much Eddie was
spending. I think they tipped him off. I think somebody tipped him off.
And then these blind bids are fucking BS.
That's suspect as fuck, man.
Because y'all remember Eddie lost the bid for Andre Parker the first time too to Frank as well.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. Yeah, but that one was different because we knew that Andre had Matchroom had severed ties already. Like, they already said that we can't do nothing for him. You know, we've taken him as far as we could go. So that one I understood that
got you.
They wasn't going to bid on that because what we need that for?
So his contract was already up when that fight was pretty much made.
I think don't quote me, but I think it was. Okay. Now with this shit, what makes it suspect is one, and I said it in a video I uploaded, that I'm like, see, if it would have been Frank, if he would have known that Frank was coming, then you got to up the ante because Frank has a network deal. Or if it was Bob, well, Bob has a network deal. You see what I mean? But it's Lou. So if they send Lou, you're going to be like, it's just Lou DeBella. He ain't got no money. You know what I mean? You're going to be modest with the shit. And I'm like, yo, why would Lou want to fight between a Canadian and a motherfucking Brit? You ain't got a TV deal to even put this shit nowhere. What do you need this for?
Exactly. Yeah, like when I saw that, I'm like, Lou beat out Eddie. Wait, what?
But now we know that, like, fam, it's Frank. Frank wanted to fight. And why would Frank? There's a few reasons I could think of that Frank would have wanted to fight. One, you were supposed to do a light heavyweight fight, but it got postponed. Artur got injured. That's one. Two, it's Eddie Hearn. Of course he want to stick it to Eddie Hearn. Of course. Yep. Three, you need content. You have to compete with Sky. You have to compete with DAZN. You need content. You know what I mean? It's a few reasons I could think of that he might have wanted that. Also, I'm hearing what Drew mentioned, which was mentioned a couple of lives ago, that Matchroom is not happy with Buatsi. They're not happy with him. And the reason it might have went through a purse bid is because it's like, man, listen, man, we going to see because we don't really fuck with this guy.
What was the reason again? Why
and the cost benefit analysis, Drew, was like, is Buatsi really a motherfucking ticket seller, needle mover, and entertaining fighter?
Fam, Alexis stay exaggerating. One, I understand that Lou and Bob worked together for the Cambosos fight. I dig it. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying that if you see Lou and he there for that fight, you don't figure that he gonna pay through the nose for the shit. Nah, you don't figure that. Not if Lou there, like, bro, it's Lou DeBella. Fuck, like, and you don't have a network deal, bro.
I saw a good comment from I saw a good comment from Mr. T. I saw a good comment to Mr. T. Shout out to him. He goes, Lou DiBella went from mob ties to bob ties.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, Lou DiBella used to. How long ago was Lou DiBella the Steven Espinosa of HBO, Jules? That was in the early 2000s.
Bro, that was eons ago, bro.
So, and what's crazy is using Lou DiBella. How much money is really Frank cutting in Lou on this deal? Like, okay, Lou, here's a couple $100,000. Do this for us.
No, it's not money. It's not money. It's slots.
It's slots, right? Exactly.
If there's anything in it for Lou, it's slots for his fighters. Case in point, didn't Richard Comey just fight Jose Pedraza this past weekend? Comey is his fighter. Now, Top Rank don't have no real reason to do that, but Comey just being there, he's in bed with Top Rank. And if he's in bed with Top Rank, he's in bed with Frank because Frank is in bed with Bob. That's the network of old liver spots and old men.
And like you said, Jules, the spot, like DiBella was really banking on Wilder accepting that thing because then DAZN would have gave DiBella a lot of spots for closing that deal.
Bingo. Like what Lou gets out of this deal, I don't think it's a cash incentive. I think it's slots for his fighters, which, you get cash out of it, but it's the slots. It's not just like, well, here, Lou, here's 100,000, go do this. No, like, it ain't like that. It's more like he has a stable of fighters for what it's worth. He does have a stable of fighters, and they need slots because if he don't do this, they end up on UFC Fight Pass, and nobody watches that shit.
Just one question.
Like you don't watch that shit. I mean, I got it because I watch MMA, but
real quick, country. Is this fight an IBF eliminator?
Yeah,
it's WBC, isn't it?
No.
It's IBF.
He talking about the Pascal. And Buatsi. That's the IBF eliminator.
Hey, Jules. Vic G is asking you: do you think Jose Luis Castillo is a Hall of Famer, and do you think he beat Floyd?
I think there's definitely an argument in the first fight. I think there's an argument that he did beat him. I don't dwell on it, to be honest. Like, it doesn't mean to me what it means to other people. But when people say that they think he beat him, I understand that because he threw a lot of goddamn punches. So I get it. Do I think he's a Hall of Famer? I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Did he get inducted this past weekend?
He did. Wow. He did. He was there. Yep, with his family.
No, he was there. A lot of people were there, but did he get inducted?
I think he did.
Wow. Maybe I need to give him another look.
Hey, Jules.
Yeah, maybe.
Jules, do you think that the Middle East and all them, they only want championship fights? Look at all the fights that Eddie's done with them.
I mean, if you read through the thing that Eddie tweeted and you read through the boxing scene article, you got this, or at least I got the sense that they want fights of consequence. They don't want just any fight. They want fights of consequence, fights that kind of matter. Like McCaskill versus Cameron, right? That's a fight of consequence. That's on the undercard of Bivol versus Rez. That's going to be on the undercard.
The reason why is because consequence equals money. They're putting out the money they want to make.
And
money,
also,
so
and look at those two fighters. You know that if you put her in the ring and you put her in the ring, you're going to get a fucking war. Individually, they'll get you a war. Together, somebody got to go. Something got to happen. Somebody going to get hit. Somebody
That's a good style matchup. That's a very good matchup.
You think about Bivol and Ramirez, that's a lot of consequences. If Ramirez wins, whether Canelo wants to fight Mexicans or not, pressure is going to be applied. You say that shit, whatever, bro. If he beats Bivol, not saying that he will or won't, but if he beats Bivol and he bloodies that man, you may not have a choice but to fight him. Might not.
Don't be surprised. One second. Don't be surprised if you see Canelo in the UAE or Saudi Arabia very soon.
He better. That's where all the money at. UAE, motherfucker. They trying to build it. Listen, when they built the Glass City, I'm in that bitch, B. They trying to build it. Y'all know what I'm talking about? They trying to build a Glass City that spans miles and miles and miles, and it's elevated.
Miles.
Exact. I'm going. Me and Sawab going to be neighbors, bro.
Serious question.
Air conditioning.
Serious question. How many BLTs could Jermall Charlo afford if he got a UAE paycheck?
Bro, we'll never know. Listen, let me say this. with the amount of opportunities that are out there in today's boxing landscape, there are actually more opportunities now for a prize fighter than there ever were in the past. And for his situation to be what it is, it's like either you're the biggest idiot in boxing or your management are the biggest idiots in boxing, because you should be fighting. There's lots of fights out there for you. Lots. And
you can make good money.
And and he's about to be in his mid-30s.
Hey, Jules. Joey Chaz is asking you, why are the 130 and 154 undisputed champions not draws? Are belts not important in this era?
It's not that belts aren't important. It's that everybody's not going to be a star. And boxing has never been different. There have been undisputed champions in the past that weren't stars. Everybody's not going to be a star. Every era of boxing that I've ever lived through, there have only ever been one, maybe two cash cows. One or two. It's not like everybody like Zab was undisputed, but he wasn't a fucking cash cow.
Right.
No,
and he also says Amazon is doing MMA now.
Amazon is doing a lot of things over there in the Far East. That's my understanding. They're doing combat sports and all that shit over there.
Tell Mr. Chestnut the guy at 54 doesn't fight enough to get bigger than a C-level celebrity.
Yeah, look, here's an example, Chaz. You had a guy in Jermel Charlo, and this is why I say the PBC is a crackerjack outfit. Here you have a guy who literally brought in the best TV ratings this cable company has seen for these shows in a long time. It was either 1 million or close to 1 million. So people cared, people watched, and what you do is you bench him till January.
That's a good idea.
You want to know what
brilliant idea.
You want to know what I would have did if I had Jermel, if I was Steven Espinosa and
I'm not done. Wait. Now you have a mandatory that I'm fairly confident he can knock this motherfucker out. And I ain't even talking about Tim. I'm talking about Murtazaliev. Got a mandatory. He's been mandatory since 2019. Get Jermel out there in either the summer or the early fall months and let him get a little knockout. Let him get some work in. Let him make some money. Yeah, no, let's bench him till January.
Bro, they're broke.
And here's what you do without money if you're broke. This is just big picture, what I would have done. Okay, Jermel, you had this thing. We're going to talk to the executives at the new, whatever new show's premiering. You're going to be at the premiere, and we're going to try to get you a little cameo in that role, in that series.
Yeah.
We're going to just keep you busy, keep you in the spotlight. Whether we can get you a fight or not, you're out there.
Shout out to Tony Boswell. Appreciate the Cash App donation. Thank you kindly. Or you do right by your fighter. If this network does not have a slot for my fighter, I'm not just going to leave him out there on the shelf. Eddie, you got something you want to do with my guy? You want to put together a little fight, little something? We do some business?
Well, give me whatever.
Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because this is what makes it unethical. Boxing is not a sport that you can do forever. You have a limited window to make money, and you have fighters, young fighters, that are just sitting around to where they're not fighters anymore, like Keith Thurman. That's what happened to him. 2-year hiatus, comes back, has 2 fights, 2-year hiatus again. That man has spent 4 years, 4 of the last 6 years, that man was not fighting.
Yep.
You can't be a fighter on the schedule.
That's a sad statement. That's a sad
undefeated
statement.
Keith Thurman, okay? Undefeated Keith Thurman.
So you caught that too, right?
Oh my God. Like, oh.
You caught that too, right?
What I'm like,
the motherfucker said undefeated. So Manny Pacquiao didn't beat you. I didn't say that.
I saw that. Like we all missed that, right?
No, we crazy. He didn't get beat. He's undefeated.
That loss was a figment of our imagination.
Yo, I saw that. I'm like, this motherfucker's out of his mind.
Yo, I had to play it back. Jay, I had to play it back. Like, he didn't say that. And I went, no, he did say that.
Yep, he really said it. He really.
Hey,
and
Jay,
I prayed again. I got on my knees and I said a prayer. I said, like, Lord, boxing gods, please give Jared Boots and
let me say this. And this is why, shout out to Alexis, because he pointed this out the last time he was here, and I've been saying it. I've been beating that drum that look, Fox is not spending no money on PBC content right now. They're really not. their budget, their primary budget is coming from Showtime. And that could result in a situation where Stephan has him by the balls like, yo, listen, fam, we invested in Jaron Ennis, and we need you to give us one of your fighters to put in there with him, all right? Otherwise, them two, they ain't not fighting on. If it's me, you gonna get in there with Jaron Ennis, or you don't fight on Showtime. We don't owe you nothing. Remember, we ain't got a contract with you. So if you want to fight here, it must be to fight Jaron Ennis. Otherwise, you don't fight here. Period.
Boom.
Jules, what do your sources tell you about the rumor that Steven's bosses have cut the budget?
I mean, I don't even need it to be a rumor. You can tell that they cut the budget.
No, yeah, I mean that. Do you know did they give an inclination of how much or where it's at right now?
Look, just put it this way. This is how you can tell. Go back and look at their schedule from last year and compare it to this year. Aren't they doing less shows than they did last year?
They got no slots.
Fox's budget is gone. Showtime, yeah, y'all still doing shows, but it's a blackout month in either September or October. Well, that don't sound like you're doing too good with these shows that you got to clear out a whole month with no shows.
And that's to allocate resources to Spence Crawford, allegedly, right?
That's my theory. That's my theory, okay. And that's me being optimistic that, you know what, if there's a blackout period in the fall, perhaps it's because they're reallocating resources to do Crawford versus Spence. Though we won't know until the fight is made that's what that was. Is the fight made?
We don't know.
Well,
we called it on this channel about 3 weeks ago. We called it. Jules said, like, look, what happened was they fucked this up by devaluing Crawford, but then asked Crawford to come to the negotiation table, and Crawford's like, okay, let's see this Big Fish's pay-per-view numbers. Oh, that's what it is? Well, my guarantee is this, because I don't want no back-end mythical money.
I as an adult, right? I cannot knock Crawford if he go over there and he say 10 or I don't fight. No, I'm not going to get mad at him. Why? Because I would not do no job for less than what the fuck I've been doing. Now, if I got 6 in my last fight at Top Rank, what kind of dickhead am I to come over here and fight you for 5?
That makes no fucking sense.
God, like, how stupid would I? Yeah. I know I just fought Sean for 6, and Sean got 4 with me. He got 2 with you. He got 4 with me. It make sense. And then I'm gonna come over here because I'm such a fucking idiot, and I'm gonna fight you for 5, and you supposed to be a bigger name than him. You can suck my dick and the balls.
Y'all
Fuck out of here.
Can I just say this?
Y'all have seen Menace to Society. They hitting Terrence Crawford with, I got these cheeseburgers.
Got these cheeseburgers, man. Oh, bullshit.
I just want to say, listen, we want the PBC to fix up. We don't want them to go out boxing. We just want them because they have good fighters. Either the dumb, stupid motherfucking fighters or the management need to fix their shit up. Either just leave the PBC island for good or force them into doing something for boxing because I don't know. We want to see fights. I want to see Jamal Charlo again.
The network that gives them a budget needs to regulate. That's what needs to happen. Now, listen, you get your budget from us. Fox is all but gone. You get a budget from us, and this is what we want. All right. Otherwise, next year, some things might change.
Make the fights happen, bro. Like the zone probably pushing Eddie Hearn as well.
Stephan Espinoza 2 weeks ago, Stephan Espinoza tried to do this spin job. When are people gonna realize that the network doesn't dictate which fight? Bullshit. It was because of Les Moonves that motherfucking Maypac happened. What the fuck are you talking about? The network executives do decide what happens. That's a motherfucking fact. They the ones that decided they don't want Klitschko on premium cable in this country. What the fuck are you talking about? They do decide.
Thank you, Joe. Les Moonves said, Al Heyman, I'm going to cut up that deal you got with Stephan because I'm the parent. You make this fight.
Make the fight.
What happened. He had Les Moonves. Les Moonves is Jewish. He had Bob Arum and Al Heyman over his house for dinner and just said, look, I'll blackball both of you guys if you don't make this fight.
Simple as. You get You get your budget from us. We don't get our we are the lifeblood of what you're doing. And if we want Thurman to get knocked out in front of 33,000 iguanas and so be it.
You know what? Though,
if
if they do that, Ennis or Thurman, I will go if they're like, we'll give complimentary flutes to the first 10,000 people in attendance.
Yeah, like Bat Day, they got Bat Day at Yankee Stadium, Flute Day at the Barclays. When Thurman get knocked out by Ennis, everybody get a flute.
Yep.
Keep Thurman Day. Everybody get a flute.
Hey,
okay, I want to say two things.
Go ahead, Leo.
I think Keith Thurman knew that it was over for him since the Josecito Lopez fight, because that fight he was supposed to win easily.
That's true.
It was almost a stop in that fight. Really.
That's true.
With a different referee, that fight gets stopped.
That's true. No, I agree.
And the second thing, I think what we are asking about these promotional companies is they have to stop being so political. I mean, it's like what the PBC did to Crawford is similar in some ways to what China does to Taiwan. They don't recognize him.
Yeah.
It's not like they're supposed to give them Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman. It's not that. You refuse to talk about the guy. You lied about your rankings. You lied about the world title that Terence Crawford holds. That is a fake title. That's unacceptable. That's political. That is not
Fox Sports.
It's not
Fox Sports little did a fucking media blackout.
Listen, let me tell y'all a great story, right? I'll tell you a great story. All right, now, earlier this year, the VP of Communications over there at the PBC, Tim Smith, was asked whether or not they made Terence Crawford an offer. And Tim said, no, we haven't, because we don't want to insult the guy. And people aren't going to buy this pay-per-view. They're not going to buy it. They're just going to steal it. See, Tim Smith, the VP of Communications, did not have faith that this event was a marquee event, that it could sell. And that was this year. That was this year, gentlemen, in January. Now, if that's how you felt at the beginning of this year, that then has to mean that this is how you felt the whole time. So it couldn't have been your intention to do this fight these last 4 years. Not if that's how you feel 4 years later. So it was never really your plan to do this fight.
I don't think that's the case. I just think the PBC are fucking dumb stupid, because, put it this way, if they took the offer from the zone and if they let fighters fight each other, bring them on to each other's platform, that way boxing will be great, and that way PBC is going to be doing great as well.
It's not, listen, it's egos. Like, let me explain this to you, right? Boxing can thrive for all of these outfits with a bartering process. And yes, it takes work, but it can be done. If Sawab has a fighter that I need for my fighter, and I have another fighter that he needs for one of his fighters, we're going to assess the value of both of those fights, and we're going to come to an agreement that if these fights are of equal value, I will send you my fighter, and you'll send me your fighter, and we can each get a good fight apiece of equal value, all right? If you're smart, you can do that. But people have egos, and that's the real problem. These guys think that because they got a developed Floyd that was groomed under Top Rank, they really thought that they were like fucking wizards and shit. Like, bro, you didn't build this guy. Top Rank built this guy. You didn't build Wilder. Golden Boy builded Wilder. Most of his fights was under Golden Boy. Most people don't know that. But they're the ones who had him on that diet of journeyman. They're the ones, them and Shelly Finkel. That's another story. These fighters, hold on. These fighters that you acquired, you didn't build any of them. You didn't. You didn't build any of them. When they were in the grooming process and developing as fighters, a lot of them were Golden Boy fighters, because you don't actually know how to groom fighters. Look at where they are now.
Yeah. They just want a finished product. They don't want to do the legwork in terms of matchmaking and marketing.
I don't think they know how, bro. I don't think they know.
Like you got a finished product in Crawford, and it's still fucking stuck.
They thought that because Floyd and Al did that shit. That we figured out the whole game. We figured it all out. Oh no, you got a generational talent. That's what you got. You got a generational talent. So most of the hard work, you didn't even have to do that.
Nah, it just fell on his lap. But it was only a few days ago that I heard that this fight was done. From BT, from True School Sports. The only problem that I did, I blame myself, is I didn't ask him for who the fuck is the source. Now, if it's done, who the fuck is reporting it? It seems to me that nobody wants to touch this fucking story because they're not so sure if it's done or not. They don't want to be that guy who fucking reported false information. So, I don't know, man.
Well, I'll say this much. I heard the same thing, and I believe that I heard the same thing. It's done. That's what I was told. But
I hope so.
I always say the same thing. I'll believe that's what they told me, but I will believe it when I see it. The reason I believe that it might be done is Showtime cannot afford to do this. You have to do this fight. You have to. You haven't had a big fight all year. Do you really want 2020? Listen, do you want 2022 to come and go and the biggest fight you put on was Charlo and Castaño? How are you supposed to compete with fights like Joshua versus Usyk and Canelo versus Golovkin and Ben versus Eubank and all that shit? How are you supposed to compete? You have to do this fight.
Yeah. Hey, Jules, Vic G was asking, why is Haney so disrespected in boxing? Is it because he's boring?
I don't think he's disrespected in boxing. Well, no, let me rephrase that, because I did feel he was being disrespected when they called him an email champ. I never thought that shit was cool. Because it's like that issue got polarized where it shouldn't have been polarized. For one, don't get mad at Devin if he didn't fight for the title, because it was Top Rank that asked for franchise status. That's not that kid's fault. It was never his fault, but they tried to act like it was his fault because they was riding Teofimo nutsack. That bullshit came from him. He started that dumb shit.
Right.
And it wasn't. It's not right. That kid he went through the channels. He did what he did, and he was just trying to get in line. Was he going to fight Loma right away? No, because he had a fucking shoulder surgery. Of course he wasn't going to fight him right away. Most people don't remember that. Devin Haney ended that year having shoulder surgery. So no, he wasn't going to fight Loma right then and there anyway. All right? The shit is that they jumped on him because it was easy and because it was cheap. And I thought that's some bullshit. That's bullshit.
People they rode target, man.
They rode that way when Teofimo first said, "Oh, the email champ."
Exactly. Or if he an email champ, go beat his ass then. Nah, you want to fight George, right? So what the fuck we talking about then, motherfucker?
And guess what they calling? Guess what they calling Yanni back now?
They calling him an email champ.
Hello.
But they just do. But this is why they calling Yanni Beck an email champ. Those are people that are mad that Devin was called the email champ. So now that's like their little rebuttal. They figure that the same people that were calling Devin an email champ are the same people that like Yanni Beck. That's the logic they're using.
The twist to that is, but Tank was also calling Devin an email champ. It's like,
but he got it from Teofimo because Teofimo started that shit.
But we ignore it when it's the mental gym. How exhausting do the mental gymnastics for these people have to be? Jesus.
Yeah, because they're ignoring it when Tank said it, but if somebody else says it, they get pissed off. It's like,
or like all Canelo did with the Mexican fighters, all Canelo did is say out loud what Tank Davis and Jermall Charlo practice in private when it comes to brother fighters.
That is true though, because Tank didn't want to fight Farmer, and he don't want to fight Devin, but he'll fight Isaac Cruz in a heartbeat though.
And then I remember Jules
Benavidez because he's half a Ecuadorian.
And then when that narrative went around that Canelo was ducking black fighters, and Jules did that whole list of box rec, and they were attacking him on Twitter for weeks.
Yeah, like
Drew, that's not true. Canelo fought Caleb, so
listen.
Nah, but like,
and I don't want to let it devolve. I don't want to let it devolve into that same old bullshit. But all I gotta say is, listen, bro. Canelo fought Danny Jacobs. Neither the Charlo brothers or Demetrius Andre fought Danny Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
And they fought, and he fought him, and he fought him. Listen, he fought him when he was a champion. He had just beat Sergey. He gave Sergey his first loss. The same Sergey y'all sucking Jermall dick for beating. Danny beat him first.
Took his own.
And who fought right after that? Canelo.
Yep.
Motherfuckers are stupid, and I can't just be arguing with stupid ass people because I know eventually I'm gonna turn stupid from arguing with your stupid ass. That's why I don't like arguing with stupid ass people. Like,
right?
The fuck, fam. Jermall Charlo out here fighting Montiels and whatever, and you high off that, you a fucking idiot. Then something wrong with you.
I just gotta say something because the last panel I didn't get asked this question. I would rather fight the Predator because it's a more combat arts performance. Where like the Predator could go, Jules. The Predator can go 101 and 2, but he needs to lose to get better to reallocate and re-upgrade himself. So he has to lose.
That's how they evolve. They get into fights, and if they lose, they figure out why they lost, and then they fix it. To make my point, Canelo fought Lara. Did Jermall fight Lara?
No.
Did Jermell fight Lara?
No.
Did Andrade fight Lara?
Demetrius fight Lara?
No.
Nope.
Need I say more? They offered this butterball $7 million for a dude. They offered this little butterball $7 million for a dude that, God bless him, I love to see him fight, but real is real. Tevin never had no power. He didn't have power. He was good in the pocket. That's why I love watching him, because I love a dude that sit in the pocket and fight with you, right? But he didn't have power, and y'all was so scary. Y'all didn't let this little butterball take the 7 M's. Didn't let him take the 7 M's. And you want me to look at Loma crazy? No, bro. No. Right. Loma, Devin, for all the politics and all the shit, hey, I watched them. Davis ain't getting a dime of my money, bro. No.
Right.
In fact, I might just steal your shit just because I don't like you. Like, man, fuck you. I'm not even watching your fight, and I'm going to still steal that shit. Because fuck you, Butterball. Fuck you. That's why.
By the way, Jules, question. Maybe this was answered already, but it was mentioned that Joshua Buatsi is kind of having issues with Eddie Hearn. Like, like, why is that? And like, did he just want? Is that why he wanted to feed him the b-ball?
Shout out to Base, because Base is the one that broke that down. That basically Joshua Buatsi took impromptu hiatuses when he was supposed to be fighting, and that was taxing on Matchroom's patience with him. That they're like, "Are you supposed to be fighting? You out here taking vacations and shit when you supposed to be fighting? And because you're an Olympian, you're actually supposed to be further along than you are, but you're not because you kept taking hiatuses." So the theory is they wanted to feed him the b-ball because it's like, yo, now it's put up a shut up time, bro. Like, you got to show us that you're worth something, because you delayed and you supposed to be ahead. You supposed to be advanced because you was on Team GB. You was in that Olympic team, and you Anthony Yard level right now, bro. Like you really not. If you think about it, the toughest dude that Buatsi fought was a domestic level dude.
Yep.
Motherfucking Yard already fought Kovalev. He lost, but he fought him. So that's kind of where the impatience comes from Matchroom to Buatsi.
Yeah. I have a question. Don't you think that it might be working backwards in a sense that the matchroom grooming process? It's not the fact that the matchmaking is mad. Maybe the pay is too high for these guys.
Yes,
they get a little bit. Let's say they have $500K for one fight, a non-title fight. You might have the prompt need to go into a vacation because you win good money for, let's say, early stage of your career. So my feeling is maybe some of these guys like
are spoiled. No. I agree with you, because look at Josh Kelly, look at Buatsi. You know, Conor Ben, and I like him. I'm not criticizing him, but I'm saying that he's already getting money, right? That other guys are not even getting right now. World-class content, like Boots ain't getting that, and Boots is a mandatory. Stanionis ain't getting that kind of money, but he's a fucking mandatory. He's at the door of a title. Whereas Conor, and I like Conor, so it's not a knock on him, but what I'm saying is he getting the kind of bread that they wish they was getting. So is it possible that some of these guys are spoiled? I would say yes. I would say, yeah, like you not like, and I ain't gonna say kind of not hungry because I'm saying like this man about to go up the middleweight, and I feel like based on that bucket of chicken and the bucket of chicken that Chris had at the KSI fight, right? And the fact that he trying to get a Jake Paul fight, he trying to get a Jake Paul fight like Breedis was trying to get a Jake Paul fight.
He called him out. You know
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Jay? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
All right. All right. Kind of been going to knock that man out. That's what I think. Because you out here eating chicken and you out here worrying about Jake Paul. Bro, you about to fight kind of Ben.
Jay, as soon as I said Jay, Jules, as soon as I saw that bucket of chicken in his hands, I'm like, okay, I got countered by KO.
You gave that shit to me. I love KFC, but you not supposed to. What message does it send that you go into the YouTuber fight with a bucket of chicken and you calling out Jake Paul?
Do you got a hard weight cut? Like, what are you doing? Like,
I'm about to say, don't worry about Jake Paul because Anderson Silva's getting ready to take care of that motherfucker right there. So
that's true. That is true. I heard he gonna fight Spider Silver.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. I mean, that's what they saying. Like it's everywhere now that he gonna fight Anderson Silva.
Fuck out.
Listen,
Anderson got hands.
Silva beat Chavez, bro.
Yep.
In a boxing match.
This is a huge step up fight for Jake Paul. I can't believe I'm saying this.
So you telling me that Jake Paul stepping up before Tommy Fury? Wow.
I think he was really jealous of KSI and the attention he was getting for fighting two guys in one night.
Nah, but KSI, look, man, KY Jelly is top tier shit, my guy. He fought two ham sandwiches in the same night, bro. You got respected.
What a joke.
And look, KSI. I mean, listen, wait. KSI look like he about to get the Tommy Fury fight.
Yeah, I got him against Tommy.
That's probably why.
He because Tommy can't come to America anyway because of the Kinahan and the travel ban and all of that. But he ain't got to go to America to fight KY Jelly.
Nope.
But I just think that Jake Paul is kind of like, I just think he's kind of like butthurt because like if you notice that tweet he sent to him, it's like, oh, Nate Robinson will knock you out. Really?
I mean, look, like I'm gonna say. Right now, KSI is the A side. No bullshit. No bullshit. He's the A side to Jake Paul because the last two pay-per-views was, and you canceling fights now with Hasim Rahman. Rahman ended up over there. He in bed with them now. He about to fight Belfort.
He about to fight Belfort.
Bellator.
Balakwa. I just want to say, I hope Hasim whoops his ass.
I hope he whoops his ass too.
Because I still don't like what he did.
Why is gonna be a bigger fucker than Julio Jr. is, man? I ain't gonna stress that. He about to be a bigger fucker than Julio Jr. is.
You listen. If he get that back for what Belfort did to Holyfield, I'll be happy. I ain't because I didn't like that shit.
That man needs to pay for that. He needs to pay for that.
The man is celebrating beating up a guy who's way past his prime, is in his fucking early 60s. Come on, man. Belfort is gonna get this fucking hands, bro.
That was a serious lack of respect right there, man.
Old ass man like that.
Triller should be
like imagine if Jake Paul did that to Anderson Silva.
Motherfucker, nah, but I don't know about all that.
It'll be outrage, bro. But there will be a fucking outrage, right?
Silva different, bro. Chill. If he beat Silva, I don't want to have to respect Jake Paul, man. But if he beat that dude, I'm gonna have to respect him.
Silva, man, he got hands, man.
Silva beat Chavez, bro, in front of his father and Canelo. Canelo was at that fight. With the
you went around all your seasons that damn, I wish Canelo was my damn kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but he really, so I'm like, listen, and one Silva is not a stranger to the boxing ring. He's not a stranger to the boxing ring.
He's not.
So
I think he had a pro fight before.
He lost that shit, but he still had that shit.
Hey, Jules, I got a question for you about Canelo, man. Do you think James Toney is a hater on Canelo?
Nah, I just think that. I mean, look, I like James, and James is one of my favorite fighters, but I don't see hate. I don't see hate. It's just that James came up in an era where you had Hopkins, where you had Roy, you had Pavlik, where you had Taylor. Those was animals, bro. Compared to what's there now at middle and super middle, this shit,
Because I saw a YouTube video and they had all these things where Tony was picking all these different fighters to like beat Canelo, knock him out, and like.
But let
Canelo
me ask you. But I'm look. You know I like Canelo, right? But I'm gonna be honest with you. Canelo don't beat Roy at 60.
Oh hell no! Hell no!
As in a time machine at 60, 68, 75.
No.
You don't beat Roy.
Never.
You don't beat Roy. Now, and I'm a Canelo fan. I'm being real with you, right? James, motherfucking Tony, and Canelo. I go Tony, bro. Like, and I like Canelo. I respect him, but nah, you don't have it. He went to heavyweight and ain't get knocked out, my guy.
Never stopped.
Heavyweight and ain't get
never
knocked
stopped
out.
in all his losses. Never stopped.
All right. Now I like Canelo, but come on, we seen in the B-ball fight. You have a ceiling. It's all right. There's no shame in it. But Tony was just a different guy, bro. Like, so what I see in Tony is that, look, you at the weights that I used to be at, right? But what's your competition? Caleb Plant?
Bobby Yildirim?
Right.
You know, Billy could box.
Billy Joe Saunders.
No, look, Billy's all right, but come on, B. Like, we gonna compare that to the Pavliks and the Taylor? Like,
but come on, it's not on that
Leo,
level.
Come on,
yeah.
But like, you know what I think? It's like now that Callum Smith is a wrecking machine at light heavyweight. It's a shame we didn't see that in the Canelo fight. You know?
Nah, I mean, it's a combination of things. I think. Look, I don't make excuses for fighters, right? But I just feel this is a healthier weight for him. It's just the truth.
Oh, obviously.
6'2", 6'3", bro. Getting down to 68, it's hard.
Hey,
But
Jules, Lisa Bale's asking for a link.
I got you.
By the way, Jules, panel, did y'all see Ray Mercer was interviewed where he was asked about Deontay Wilder? Could he make a comeback? He said, well, first thing he needs to do is learn how to fucking box. And he just walked away.
Listen, let me give y'all a perspective. Ray was on the same Olympic team as Riddick Bowe, as Roy Jones Jr. I believe Pernell Whitaker was on that team also. You're not going to talk shit to Ray. What you going to say? Ray is a hater?
That was an all-star studded cast on that Olympic team, man.
Like he just said that shit and gave no fuck. He just walked away. It's like, man,
you going to tell Ray he don't know? He don't know. You come on, B. He put on one of the most immortalized ass whoopings in the whole of YouTube. I remember I had friends. They didn't watch boxing, but you know what they did watch? They would watch Ray Mercer beat the shit out of Tommy Gunn by them ropes just to see that knockout.
That was an obliteration, man. I mean, he got
destroyed.
Yeah, that was
very next fight. He lost a decision to the Eastern Assassin.
That was beyond cringe, though. That beat.
Yeah.
I was like, no, Tommy.
That was rough. Yeah.
That was rough as a great white hole.
So to just characterize the shit, I don't really think James is being a hate. Like I don't get that. I'm just saying that I think James, he like, look, Canelo middleweight, super middleweight, and low stint at light heavyweight. These is the weights that I used to be at, and what you dealing with is it don't compare. Remember, he fucking where did he fight Roy? Was that at middle or super middle?
Super middle,
middleweight.
Bro,
168.
Oh yeah, super middle. Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah, 168. Yeah.
Could you imagine Canelo trying to deal with Roy at them weights?
Nah.
Nope.
And I fuck with Canelo, but it's like, that was a different era. That was different, bro. You had Hopkins, Roy, Pavlik, Taylor, Jones, all around it. Nah, come on. Now you can't play.
By the way, y'all know it's one fight that we never got around that time. That would have been great. It was Hopkins versus Tony.
Never happened, but I ain't gonna lie to you.
Who you got, Jules?
That's tough.
It's just tough, ain't it?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm gonna go with Tony.
Me too.
Hey,
I think I'll go with Tony.
Imagine Canelo trying to go against Calzaghe.
I mean, you got to be honest. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. That's a very good fight. But just thinking back to that era of all of that, and then if you Tony and you here and you retired and you thinking back on your own era, and then you looking at Baby John B. and others that look like Diamond Dallas Page. It's like, man, Come on now, like you can't compare that shit. Taylor, Jermaine Taylor by himself. Bro, nah, fam. These guys wouldn't beat that dude, man. They wouldn't beat that dude. They wouldn't beat that
I think
dude.
the problem with
And Julius, a lot of people don't know.
Jules, your buddy's back in the chat, man.
All right, go ahead, Lisa.
A lot of people don't know James Toney, like some of these newer boxing fans. James Toney didn't like nobody. Everybody know that.
Yeah, like James is no, but he didn't though. Like James wasn't friends. Remember when he talked to Nigel Ben?
I remember. And Eubank Senior. Yep.
Yeah, like he said, I'll beat both of you. I'll beat both of you.
I'll beat you and your mama's ass.
Beat you and your mama's ass. James wasn't friends with nobody.
No.
James
Like
was
I know the Spence fans was like kind of upset with him because he's choosing Bud, but James don't really give too many people too much credit at all.
But it's a testament. It's not James being a hater because he picking Bud.
Yeah.
It's more like you gotta realize, wow, James is giving somebody a compliment.
Yeah, you gotta work. You gotta work to impress James, man. James.
That's what I'm. If James is giving you a compliment, that must really mean something.
Yeah.
He's been saying that for the longest time that Bud will beat Spence. You know what I mean?
And he called Ellie Suckback a dick rider,
a jock strapper.
A jock strapper.
Yeah.
Like, come on with this shit, B. Like,
he over there jock strapping for Wilder all day and all the mother.
For a guy
that
wasn't like didn't have much of an amateur career to now he's a pound for pound great currently, man. That's a big leap, man. And that's fucking respect.
Mm-hmm.
See, Arrow, he had the pedigree of an amateur champion. He was on a 2012 Olympic team with John B.
It's more than that. See, this is why I don't like Arrow. You should have been at 54 already. Mm-hmm. You should have been there already.
That's where he started. That's where he started.
If you look at Shakur, who is the prime example of how you supposed to do it, Shakur wasn't at 26 long. He wasn't that long. And he just did his thing at 30, and he already on his way to 35. Now, Errol, you've been at welterweight for a long fucking time. A long time. You're supposed to already be at 54. See, if you look at Crawford, he wasn't at none of them weights all that long either. You've been, you in the kiddie, like to me, Errol in the kiddie pool, and call me a hater, I don't give a shit. He not all that, because if he was all that, he'd be at 54 and he'd be a champion already.
Well, that's because him and the twin Charlos are doing the conga line to the weight classes. And plus, he's just being a nice guy. He's just trying to keep the belts warm for Bud when he takes them.
Motherfuckers don't be wanting to hear that shit. Like, listen, yo, look, and they really want that dude to be just this ATG. I'm like, no, dog. Like, look, I don't like Oscar. Y'all hear me say it all the time. I don't like Oscar, but I'm telling you, that Oscar from back then, he'll beat the shit out of Spence. Yeah. Believe it.
He would.
That Felix Trinidad.
Don't worry.
That Felix Trinidad.
Fuck him up, man.
That Felix Trinidad he would beat Spence. I'm telling it was the welterweights. You know what people haven't noticed? The welterweights over the years, while the heavyweights have gotten bigger, the welterweights have gotten smaller. Look at Tommy Hearns. Sugar Ray Leonard was 5'10", 5'11". Tommy Hearns was like 6'2".
Yep.
They're run through this whole weight class. Imagine Thurman. Imagine Thurman versus Tommy Hearns.
Tommy would terrorize him.
Thurman versus Leonard.
They don't go he don't go 6 rounds.
Thurman would be crumbled up in the corner, hugging his knees.
Imagine Danny Garcia versus Duran at 47 versus Leonard. It's not even like it's not even close. Like it's not even like you could say Floyd Leonard. And maybe you feel Leonard might win, maybe you don't, but you can at least say it and not feel like you're telling a joke. They're like, no, Floyd Leonard is a fantasy fight. Floyd versus Hitman is a fantasy fight. It is. Like, people talk about it. People don't talk about Danny Garcia versus Tommy Hearns.
What? Oh, my God. Yeah.
Unless I'm fantasizing about him getting his ass whooped, I'm not fantasizing about shit. That's not a fantasy fight. That's a fantasy ass whooping.
Bro, you don't even have to go that far. The thing is, you don't even have to go that far. You could just say Donald Curry could get a belt in this era, and he would.
Corte would have gave people problems today.
Yeah, a lot of them guys.
Let me say this, brother. Look, when people talk about the welterweight division today, now with Porton is retired now, okay, but Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Errol Spence Jr. They'll talk about these guys because there is an argument to say there is one division stronger than other, but you'll be talking about these guys like Errol Spence has a win against Floyd Mayweather. They talk about Sean Porter having a win against Juan Manuel Marquez.
Leo, he beat Danny Garcia. Stop. He beat Danny Garcia. So clearly, he's in that conversation with Leonard and those guys. Clearly.
Yep. No. But when they talk about stronger division, you have to take, for me, you have to take something from the OGs, the generation before. They didn't have those fights. You know the fight. The only opponent of that era, that the era when Juan Marquez and Timothy Bradley, Manny Pacquiao, they were fighting. The one fight that Danny and some of these other guys shared the ring is Paulie Malignaggi. That's the only guy. Paulie Malignaggi, maybe past his prime. Is the only guy that you can say this is the era of it's something that era that you can share with all those other guys. Not even Miguel Cotto.
No, let me tell you something. I love the Tim Bradley era, that era of Bradley and Marquez and Manny and Cotto and Floyd and Shane. Great era. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that Duran that fought Leonard in that first fight, the majority of that era don't beat that guy. No, they don't. And they don't. And the majority of that era, they not getting past Leonard, bro. You crazy?
Right.
They the welterweights was bigger and nastier. If you go back and you look at whatever footage is available of Sugar Ray Robinson, you can see it right then and there, bro. This dude would annihilate Keith Thurman. It's not it's like annihilate. It's not a fight. It is not a fight. It's an ass whooping. You cannot stay away from this man all night. And these are 15-round fighters we talking about, which Drew always brings up, which I think most people don't realize. We always talk about gas tank issues, when we taking round. Those was 15-round fighters. Duran was a 15-round fighter. Leonard was a 15-round fighter.
Yep.
All right?
And they could go.
And listen, they threw more goddamn punches than these guys.
Yeah.
Look at the footage.
Yeah.
These guys wouldn't know what to do, man. They get lost in the flow of punches and be done.
The only reason that Floyd is permissible, even though Floyd is a 12-round fighter, is that Floyd established, I'm it. From my era, I am it. That's what he did. So you could put him in them fantasy fights and not feel like a fool, because he did do that. But now that we in this era, come on, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put Errol Spence with Sugar Ray Leonard.
I got you.
Jules, you know Spence gets him by KO. Come on.
And then listen, I saw somebody make this argument that, Spence could have been in that era because Leonard lost to Duran. I've seen people say that. And what I said was, okay, that's true. He did lose to Duran, who was a lightweight, who moved up in weight. But Duran moved up the middleweight.
Yep.
He moved up the middleweight. Is Errol going to do that? Because Duran moved up the middleweight and was competitive with the best middleweight in the world. The best. You telling me, and at this time, Golovkin was the best. Golovkin was the guy at that time. You telling me that Errol could have hung in there with a prime Golovkin? No.
Well, Jules, come on, man. It's the power, the speed, the footwork,
the IQ.
Mr. D. Loke says Thurman gets hit with an overhand by Tommy and he'll look like Martin.
Yes, he will.
Cervecero says Julius Oscar was a hell of a fighter, ducked nobody. Too bad he started acting funny as of late, protecting Ryan Garcia. It's the coke, man. It's the motherfucking coke. The coke that Southpaw's on.
Ryan, he'll get his own official pair of fishnets, man.
But as far as a fighter, even most people don't realize it. Oscar was 5'10". Felix Trinidad was 5'11". They call Errol a big welterweight. You know what Errol? He 5'9".
Yep.
A little over 5'8".
Yeah.
5'9".
The welterweights back then, they were able to move up in weight. Like Tommy Hearns moved all the way up to light heavyweight.
Ban Leonard, he went up to super middleweight. That's where he fought Donnie Lalonde.
Didn't he go up to cruiserweight, Tommy Hearns?
He did later in his career.
Cruiserweight too.
But he was
I remember when he beat what was that light skinned guy's name?
Virgil Hunter.
Virgil Hill.
Yeah, no, Virgil Hill. Yeah.
That was a light heavy.
He beat him with a jab. I remember that fight.
I boxed him. Yeah.
Didn't he take
and
him
that
out
guy was a good fighter.
Didn't he take him out in the body though?
No. That was he outboxed Virgil Hill, beat him on points.
Now let me read this.
Jabbing him.
Deed said that Ryan Garcia is a light snack. You know what Ryan Garcia would be for Duran? A power bar.
Yeah.
He'll eat Ryan on the way to fucking somebody up. Like on the way, like a power bar. Like a nutter butter. Like Ryan is a nutter butter. You think about these fighters, right? And it's like, look, Keith is, I'm going to tell y'all the truth about Keith.
Tell us.
Keith is a 140-pound fighter that's too lazy to make 140. Keith has the same. I'm telling you the truth. Why? Look at his frame. He has a super lightweight frame. He got a Costi Azul kind of frame. Like, you a super lightweight, my guy. You're not a for real welterweight, because all the for real welterweights that I remember, they was at or around 5'9" or 5'10" or 5'11", and they could go up to junior middle and middle. If you go up to junior middle, they will beat the shit out of you. Everybody up there will beat the shit out of you.
And he's like 5'7". And he 5'7".
Didn't he used to fight at a bigger weight? He used to fight at 154, right?
As an amateur, though, just listen. The other thing is this: just because he was at 54, that don't really mean you were 54. Because if I put you next to a 54, like a Tony Harrison, like a motherfucking Erickson Lubin, like a Tim Tszyu, like that Magomed Kurbanov guy, all them guys gonna make you look little. So that tell me that you're not a real junior. You just a dude that don't want to make the weight. It's the same shit that's going on with Danny. Danny ain't but 5'7", 5'8", right? You're not a real junior middle. You just don't want to have to get down to 47. That's what it is. You just don't want to have to get down there. So what you're going to do is you're going to hide at 54, fight dudes from 47. I wouldn't be surprised if he fight Josecito Lopez next. I wouldn't be surprised.
Hector Camacho would have been making waves these days, man.
Hey, Julius, do you think Tank is a real 130-pounder or 135?
Tank right now, at this age, is a 135.
Okay.
At this age,
I thought he was good at 130.
No, he was
better than me.
He was. Don't get it twisted. He was, but Tank has what I like to call the Curtis Stevens syndrome. And Curtis Stevens was a fighter that he was very little. Like, he was up there at middleweight, super middleweight. He even had a light heavyweight fight, but he was always very little. He just burly. He's stocky, but you don't have the dimensions for these weights. You don't got no reach. You don't got no height, man. Little. So that's kind of Tank. That like, yeah, you a lightweight, but you're not a big lightweight. Like Ryan Garcia is a big lightweight. Devin Haney is a big lightweight. Rayo is a huge lightweight. Like, he big for that weight. Dumbass Rolly. He's a dumbass Rolly. Big ass.
T.O. was big for the weight as well.
T.O. was big for the weight.
T.O.
Tank is like right now, because he's 27, going on 28. You are just right for lightweight. It's just like, it's good. But if you go to 40, right? Prograis bigger than you, a lot bigger than you. Ramirez is a lot bigger than you. Taylor is a lot bigger than you. Guys that don't look big is going to look big next to you because you little. Jack Catterall look big next to you because you little. You're not big. And that's where
Josh Taylor big,
He damn near 6 feet tall at 40. Damn near. Arnold Barboza is what, 5'9", 5'10"?
5'10".
There's big kids up there. That Puerto Rican, Subriel Matias, he's big. He'll make you look little.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you got Conor Benn moving up to fucking like almost around middleweight limit.
I hope he's on steroids because I need him to knock out Chris Eubank.
Just to beat up on this fucking Kentucky Fried Eating diva.
I need that.
Eating Kentucky Fried Chicken,
I need that. Like,
if I was Conor,
tired of him in his leather jackets.
No, not Connor. The other
Chris.
one. Yeah.
Eubank
Chris.
Jr.
Yeah.
See, like the dimensions of an old school welterweight is Jaron Boots Ennis. Those are the dimensions of an old school welterweight. They'd be around 5'10", 5'11", good wingspan. Guys like Mark Breland, like y'all remember Mark Breland?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he was fighting, he was a long, rangy guy, hit hard. Whereas the welterweights over time, if you think about the Mayweather era of welterweights, those wasn't real welterweights. Those was lightweights and super lightweights that moved up. Manuel Marquez wasn't a real fucking welterweight. Neither was Manny.
Nope.
No. Yeah.
They used to be
a real welterweight is a debutante, right?
Yeah, basically. If you debuted there and you moved up from there, not if you moved up to there.
Virgil.
Yeah, I mean, Virgil's a real welterweight. Virgil is a real welterweight. And he growing out of that shit fast too. There used to be a question, and I remember this was at the height of Maypac, and now I know the answer. Manny Pacquiao versus Roberto Duran at 147, right? And they always bring up that fucking Margarito fight, and they don't bring up that, there was a catch weight, Margarito was big and all that, but he was drained. I mean, that's fair to say that because it was a catch weight. And now I know Manny couldn't fight no motherfucking Duran. I like Manny, but no, you couldn't fight Duran, bro. You're not a real welterweight.
Yeah, he would have smoked Manny. Period.
Duran,
there's a difference.
Travis Jr., Travis Sr. Come on.
There's a difference. See, they did something similar. Manny, obviously, he's an excellent fighter, so I'm not trying to trash him. I'm just saying that when Manny moved up, he eventually fought the best welterweight of his time because both him and Floyd were the best welterweights of their time. When you fought the best welterweight of your time, you lost. When Duran did it, he won.
Yep.
Difference. It's a difference.
Jules, Duran went all the way up to 168, didn't he?
This is what do you think Manny could go up there? Did he go up?
Manny couldn't go up to 154 fully.
Yeah, they say they count that they count the Margarito fight as a junior middleweight fight when it was really fought just a pound over welterweight.
I mean, you got one fighter that debuted at junior flyweight, right? And then one that debuted at lightweight. So, I mean, the difference is it's staggering.
Now, do I think Manny could hang in a 15-round era and be a champion? Absolutely.
Maybe, yeah.
I think he could hang. I mean, I think he could hang. I mean, I don't want to trash him, because that's not my intention. But it's just my real intention is to show that the welterweights got smaller because the previous era of welterweights were really guys from the lower weights that moved up. We all know Manny moved up, Floyd moved up, Tim moved up, Marquez moved up, Shane moved up. You know what I mean? That's why they really didn't look all that big. But if you go to those older eras, to some of those guys that started at welterweight, you see the difference. That a lot of those guys, 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet tall, there was a bigger era of welterweights.
And they boxed more. And even give me a 140 Manny versus Salvador Sanchez. Manny's getting cooked.
Yeah, you get cooked.
Oh yeah.
You get cooked.
If Bobby Chacon and Bazooka Lamone
he said Bobby Chacon. Bobby Chacon.
They would get these 130, 135 pounders some work.
Remember them wars
That's the bond de Jesus that gave Duran his first loss would be too much for these lightweight. He would be too much for these lightweights, man. When you think about the fact that a Ryan Garcia is surviving out here, right? That tell you everything you need to know. They're like, damn,
Ray Bam Bam Boom Boom Mancini would have been terrorized.
What he did to Dusu, what's his name? Suku Kim or Dusu, he killed that man.
And that's just I go back to the testament where it's hard to compare these guys to 15-round fucking fighters.
But that's why I don't. Right. I do, that's why I lost my mind when the dude came on and he started talking about Davis and Durant. Like, fam, are you out of your mind?
And then we could add one more guy to Choco could hang in a 15-round era, prime Choco.
Maybe.
But right now, really,
prime being real with you, Prime Choco is not a super flyweight. So let's get that shit right out the way.
Yeah. But like you said, Jules, right? No questions asked. Usyk and Crawford could be champions in those eras.
Like, for example, what I have seen from Usyk so far, and I'm not bigging him up for no reason. I already seen that you have the durability to hang with a supersized heavyweight, right? So if I put you in that Michael Moorer, Holyfield type era, you'll be all right, because I just saw that you could take it. You just fought a 6'6" heavyweight 2 times. You'll be all right. You would be all right in that era of cruiserweights. I would pick him to beat David Haye at cruiserweight. And that's David Haye best weight. And I would pick him to beat David Haye at heavyweight. I mean, at cruiserweight. Because now I know Tom told the story. They're like, nah, Usyk is something else. This man fought a 6'6" gold medalist, unified champion, and beat him.
Took power shots on the fucking chin.
Yeah, but can he beat somebody with his type of speed and footwork?
The only thing that David Haye had in his prime was he was very explosive. He was quick. That's the one thing I give David. But that quickness and that explosivity, I think this cat's movement and the fact that he is southpaw, he'll make you think twice. He'll make you think twice about jumping in there and throwing a hook.
And like his Capricorn brother,
if it was him and Holyfield, I would have Holyfield winning.
That's different. That's different.
Yeah. And is that who would you have winning?
I did say David Haye. I did say David Haye.
Oh yeah,
no, like,
okay, yeah.
Holyfield and Usyk, I give respect to Holyfield. It's 50-50 fight. But
I'll
Holyfield
tell you what though,
Holyfield at cruiser or Holyfield at heavyweight against Usyk?
No. We keeping it cruiser. And if we're gonna keep it cruiser, Holy didn't lose a single fight at cruiser. Not a single fight. Not one. So I'm not saying that he did. I'm just saying don't jump to no conclusions. That's what I say.
It'd be a hell of a fight.
Nobody, even Usyk got a great cruiserweight resume, but nothing on here is better than Dwight Kwawi Muhammad. That's just my opinion.
No,
let me say this.
Absolutely not.
Let me say this. In the power department, Evander got him beat. How I know? Go back and watch the Douglas fight. That right cross put him out. Counter right cross. Motherfucking Douglas.
I'd pick Holyfield, man.
Like I would give Holy an edge. I'm not counting out Usyk because I know he could take some punishment. I know he could take some shots. But Holy went in there and had 3 wars with Bo. 3 wars. For Usyk to show me that you could hang with a Holyfield, you need to beat Tyson Fury.
Actually,
then I know.
He had 2 wars. One was Fan Man.
The intangible. I'm riding with Usyk. Usyk would be like, "Nah, okay, Holyfield, I'll be a Huckleberry. We'll do it in your fucking hood in Atlanta. What's up?"
I ain't mad at that, but I ain't mad at that.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a beautiful mythical matchup.
I ain't mad at that, but it's like what I seen from Holy is he had wars. So I know the man durable. Remember, Holyfield in his heyday was known for being able to take a fantastic punch. Man has
he was.
And Usyk is not a big puncher. He wasn't a big puncher at cruiser. He still ain't one now. Usyk's bread and butter is volume and movement. So you got the and remember what Holy said. Holy said this recently.
His movement, huh?
His counter punching is his bread and butter. So he needs you to be aggressive. He needs you to come to him. That tells me that Usyk could give him problems because you working off what the other guy doing with Mike. You right at home because Mike is gonna come to you. That's what Mike do. He pressure guy. He gonna come to you. He gonna crowd you. So you good with a Mike. But if the dude try to box you, you might be in some trouble. You might have some problems. And what would Usyk do? He try to box you. He's not gonna try to take you out. It's a good fight. It's a good fight.
Jules, I have to ask you a question. Out of the guys right now, Crawford, all the top 3-4 pound, how many guys can go through the circle of boxer, puncher, pure boxer, pressure fighter? Who does that the best?
Only a few of them have, and people not gonna like this when I say this about Inoue. Inoue hasn't fought a volume guy yet. That's what he hasn't fought yet. You haven't fought that yet. That's not your fault because you fought who was there. It's not your fault. But I could wholeheartedly say I have seen Usyk fight every style that's out. I've seen that. And I've seen Crawford do that. He fought every style that was out there. The pressure fighter, the boxer puncher, and the pure boxer. You've seen them all. You've seen them all already. You just seen them at different levels. That's the thing. Like when he fought Felix Diaz, I would say Felix is a B- to a B+ pressure guy. You a B-. You're not an A. You're not an A. Now, Sean Porter is more of a B+ to a A- pressure. Like, you're not even a perfect pressure fighter, because a perfect pressure fighter is Mike. All that he move his head when he come forward, that he slip and hook, and he fast as shit, and he could throw 2 punches in sequence with the same hand, the right hook and the right uppercut. The right hook to the body, right uppercut to the head. Beautiful sequence of punches. Not everybody can do that. You need to have speed to do that. But Crawford has seen every base style that's out there, just different levels of the base style.
And to add to that, what fighters right now can fight in those base styles at an elite level in more than one style?
Not many. Most of these guys only got one base style.
There's a video. I just want to add. There's a video I saw like about 4 years ago. It's on YouTube. It's called Crawford, like the most complete fighter, and it shows like all the highlights like of the fights that took place in 140, all the best styles he fought. It's a really good educational video. It doesn't. It's not narrated, but if you watch it, you'll know.
Now let me say this. This is what I'm gonna say to this one. He's not a B- or a C- because he got inside on everybody except one guy. Literally everybody that he fought, he got inside on them. So he's not a B-. He's not a bad pressure fighter. Like the C is disrespectful to Sean. Like, I would not say that. I would sooner say B- to B+, but I would not say C. C is Felix Diaz. C is Gamboa to an extent, because he never had much of a chin. There's things you need to be at A level. There's things you need. You know what I mean? Sean had a lot of those things, but you know what Sean's problem was? You got so far on the fucking inside, you smother your own work. You spend so much time trying to get inside that once you get there, you like a dog with a bone. Like, you just.
I mean,
let's just call it what it is. Like Jules.
Like not only does he get hit, it's like he also doesn't land a lot of his punches when he gets in.
All the punches that he lands.
That's very disrespectful, because C- fighters get dominated. When have you ever seen Sean Porter just get thoroughly outclassed and dominated for 8, 9, 10 rounds?
The only dude that we could say that outclassed Sean, I would say, is Bud.
Yep.
And that was at the very end of Sean's career, so I don't even hold that against him.
Bud is Sean Porter is a solid B fighter. Whether you want to go B+ or B-,
exactly,
his average is B.
Exactly. He's no lower than a B because he made Brook work, he made Thurman work, he made Danny work, he made Ugas work. Bud had to work, but he made it look easy. But also, it was the tail end of his career, so you got to factor that into. I would not call Sean anything under a B, and there's nothing wrong with being a B, because most motherfuckers out there are C's and D's, and that's just the truth. Most motherfuckers out there, C's and D's.
The thing about Sean could get a payday right now because the fans like him, and he's always in entertaining fights.
Sean come back and fuck somebody up, bro. Look, I like Connor. He not ready for the Sean that Bud fought.
Oh, hell no.
Hell no, absolutely not.
You're not ready for not even the Sean that Bud fought. You're not ready for that, because he's not gonna go away. This is not Chris Algieri. This is not motherfucking Chris Van Heerden. You're not ready for that.
Chris Eubank is a closer fight for Connor right now than fucking Sean Porter.
I agree.
Straight up though.
I agree with that.
Now that you said that Sean is like B level, I've been thinking that him, Keith, and Danny are like the three amigos of the B list.
Yes.
And
can I say? Let me say this. I got to turn camera on for this. I got a Walter Mercado this shit, right? Right. Because Sean and Danny and Keith are all the same level. They are on the same level. They're all in that same tier. The styles beat each other. Like, Keith Thurman is a boxer puncher, and so is Sean. They're on the same level. When they're on the same level, the boxer puncher always beats the pressure fighter when they're on the same level. Danny, same shit. Oh, no. Danny. This is why I think Danny's a piece of shit. I don't know what the fuck he wants. No. He tries to be a pure boxer, but he's not built for that. Remember, he want to take time and counter and move. Like, bro, you're not that. At your best is when you getting off your shots. So get on your shots. Let your hands go.
But that's what I mean. His style is more suited as a slugger because he
should be. He should, because he has a chin.
Yep.
He has a chin. He can punch. He stand on his whole foot when he throw his punches. You flat-footed. You draw your power from the ground. Danny is like a dude that he was supposed to be born a man, but he was born like a squirrel or some type of shit. Like, fam, fam, you trying to be a pure, and you not that. Don't you see that? Like, you not that. You need to let your hands go. So Danny's
he's a counterpuncher who likes to box.
Danny's Danny's #1 highlight is still Eric Morales mimicking him in the ring.
Bruh, Danny been
that shit was hilarious.
Danny been living off that Amir Khan win for so long, bro, and that shit just aggravates the shit. Like, fam, that shit was literally damn near 10 years ago, and y'all still bring that shit up. Like, that's some hot fly ass shit. Like, Bradis Prescott ain't fold that man in one round.
That's his Hall of Fame fight.
Literally, he knocked out Amir Khan. Well, so did Bradis Prescott, and he did it before that, and he did it faster. Then he was looting when he fucking fought Amir Khan.
Yeah, now that you reminded me of like 9 years ago, I just remembered I have a Jay-Z song uploaded from Magna Carta on my YouTube page. I think I'm gonna delete it because it hasn't aged well.
Well, shit, yo. But all those guys, every single one of them, B tier. Every single one of them. And I think Thurman is a C-class fighter now. At his best, I think he was a B. Solid B. Not a B plus. You were a B. How I know? In your prime, didn't you go through a war with Soto Caras? Didn't that didn't happen? Didn't Luis Collazo hurt you? Luis Collazo wasn't no A, B. He was like a C when y'all fought. And he hurt you.
Problems.
No, because I'm going to the prime Thurman that Mayweather was supposedly like.
All right.
Come on, bro.
One time, Keith Thurman.
Bum Tom Keith Thurman. Like, man,
I'm gonna call him one loss Keith Thurman.
Motherfucker was really bragging because he beat Julio Diaz. Like, he really said them names. Like, when he said them names, it's going to he need to go fight Diego Chavez. Remember when they asked him about Spence? You need to go fight a Julio Diaz or who? Bro, get the fuck out of here, bro.
But really, let me ask you this about Keith Thurman. Did he really say he was undefeated?
No, he did.
Really say
yes,
he did say that.
He did.
No, it's not even for kicks. He said that.
So you might think
recently,
literally with Brian Custer, he just said that.
Maybe
this on Twitter.
I think
he told Brian Custer, Errol needs to fight a prime, undefeated Keith Thurman.
I think he says that because maybe in his mind it's something like if you stay retired for 2 years, that loss disappears. Maybe works like that. I don't know.
It's not like credit to where after 7 years it just falls off the credit score. You still fucking lost, my friend. I can go to your box right now.
Unfortunately for Keith, the loss to Pacquiao. The loss to Pacquiao doesn't fall under the statute of limitations. Sorry.
He think it's like the credit score to where if you have a debt long enough, it'll just fall off the report. No, you still lost, my friend. And if I want to see it, it's right there. That no, it's still there. You still lost. You ain't undefeated.
It's Jules. It's funny you mentioned that because like on Twitter recently, like what's his name? Fendura's about to fight Carlos Ocampo, right? So somebody put up a graphic. I don't know if it was PBC or somebody else, but somebody put up a graphic that says Carlos Ocampo is still undefeated. But like he's 20. Like I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Spence did this dude in the round, so and they're saying he's 22-0. So like they trying to.
I seen that they messed up the graphic. I did see that. Let me address this. I don't know, bro, but I'm gonna be real with you, right? Check this shit out.
Well, not a bad fight, actually.
Yo, I'm out of here.
Listen, Frankie Sanchez beat F.A. Ajagba. Ask me who I'd rather watch.
Jared?
F.A. Ajagba.
I don't give a shit.
F.A.
That style that he got, I hate that. That's the minimalist approach to boxing. I'm a circle, 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 pop. Circle, 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 circle. I'm old, fam. I don't have time for that shit. And don't hit me. No, it's not. When you can sit in the pocket, and Purnell and manage, that's the sweet science. When you can sit in the pocket, roll and counter like Tony, that's the sweet science. Circle, 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 circle. Pop.
Yeah, June. I'm gonna assume that June is a NASCAR fan, so that's probably it.
I don't want to watch that. And don't tell me, who the fuck want to watch? Like, no, fam. everybody got it twisted. They think, and I don't even know why they attributed this to Floyd, because Floyd didn't do that. Floyd sat in the pocket with you. We've been through this. And he'd sit there with you, and he would roll and counter. Same as that's the show. That's what the shoulder roll is for. You can roll and counter. Even Tim Farmer used to do the shit.
You make him sound like a weeble wobble, man.
Weeble wobble, weeble wobble. You know what I mean? And this defensive fighting, don't confuse being a pure boxer or a defensive specialist with being a track star. Frankie Sanchez is a track star. When the fight starts, he's going to back up. He's going to circle away, and sido, and jab, and sido, and jab. And that's the fight. That's the fight. I don't want to watch that.
He's a runner. He's a track star.
He's a runner. He's the yo. All right. It's a lot of fighters. I don't know why they put them in the same file, which is why I think that most of these guys, like to quote Roger, no, they don't know shit about boxing. Tony didn't fight like that, and he was a defensive fighter. Pernell didn't fight like that, and he was a defensive fighter. And he would sit there with you, same as Nicolino Loche, slip, counter, do a lot of different shit. But he'd be there with you. What he wouldn't do was get so far on the outside that it's not even a fight. And that's what Rigo did with Casemiro. That's what he did with Laborio Solis. And that's what Frankie Sanchez does all the time. And I don't want to watch that shit. Sorry. No. I don't want to watch that shit. Fuck that. I could go the rest of my life and never see Frankie Sanchez again, and I wouldn't bat a fucking eyelash.
Now, you know what he did? He did what Emmanuel Tago did as well in the Garcia fight.
That's exactly what the fuck that shit was.
Yep. And after all that shit, Tago talked, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this. So you go in there and do that. But dude, I don't want to see you
climbed in the ring to stay away from me. That's what you climbed in the ring to stay away from Ryan Garcia.
Tago's another dude who I don't want to see again.
I don't want to see it. I watch Jared Anderson any old day of the fucking week because the fight is fun to watch.
Yeah, keep feeding them like to Teleskovs to knock out and all this other
exactly.
Shit.
Yeah, like I don't give me some Jared, give me some motherfucking Richard Torres with the porn stash. I'm here to see people get knocked out. I'm not here to see you sidle for 36 minutes. I'm not here for that. I'm not. Fuck that. And they better figure it the fuck out. Because Frankie is a PBC fighter. They got to figure that shit out. Because that's your fighter. You got to get him fights. The biggest fight you could put him in is the fight I know you're not going to put him in. And that's the Wilder fight. You won't put him in that fight. Because he's going to fuck around and win. He's going to spoil it. He's going to spoil it, but he's going to fuck around and win. Win boring.
Wilder gets that belt back, they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, we're not taking any risks with this guy anymore." It's gonna be if it was a cherry pick festival before, they're gonna be like, "Oh, we gonna really protect him now. We gonna really get triple like double bubble wrap."
Yep. I'm gonna tell you what happened with Rigo, Don Ramon. Rigo lost his legs. Rigo used to go in and out, boop boop, in and out, and then get out. Right. Mm-hmm. And the older he got, he didn't have the luxury of coming in and out anymore. Either you all the way out. Or you all the way in, but it ain't no in between. If you look at the Julio Ceja fight, he wanted to be on the inside, and he got hit a lot. And then you look at the Laborio Solis fight, he was way on the outside, so far on the outside, it's not even a goddamn fight. He didn't have the luxury of bouncing in and out anymore because of what they say. The last thing to go is your power, but the first thing to go are your legs. All that he couldn't do that shit no more.
Look at the Casemiro fight. All they did was waltz the whole fight.
Don't look at the fight, country.
I never finished it.
Bro, that shit.
Like I mean, see, like watching this, like, how the hell do you score this? Who's winning? Like,
not me watching that bullshit.
Yeah, man, that was torturous to even watch, man.
I got a loss in the column for having watched that. I'm like, fam, this
now we know.
Julius took the L.
Now we know. We always wonder how Rigo stay young, so how he looks so young, and now we know because he struck the life out of the audience. Yeah. In this fight, to stay young is like a vampire.
Look. I'm gonna say this: a lot of people saw one Rigo fight. It's kind of like the Ann Wolf thing. And just getting to that, right? They always thought that Layla was afraid of Ann Wolf because of the Vonda Ward fight. It was the one Ann Wolf fight that everybody saw. What they didn't see was the Mahfoud fight that she lost. Now, Layla Ali smoked Mahfoud easy, but they convinced themselves off of that one Vonda Ward fight that, Ann would have got Layla. They did the same thing with Rigo. They saw that one Donaire fight, that one fight, and that's the only fight they saw, and that's the only fight they know. His signature performance. The rest, Rigo was like that. Like he's like a semi-boring cat.
What's that Japanese guy he fought?
I loved Rigo.
That was a good fight. That was a good fight. But what about the Jazzy Dickens fight?
Oh yeah.
That wasn't he. Don't get me wrong. He busted his shit, but in between that, it was shades of that. Of that, it was shades of that. It's like not every. I'm gonna say this. I like defensive fighters. I don't like outside fighters. That's what I don't like. I like a defensive fighter if he'll sit in the pocket. That's your Loche. That's your motherfucking Pernell Whitaker. That's your motherfucking Floyd. They'll sit in the pocket with you.
Tevin Farmer, he did it too.
They're within striking distance, but they're still James Toney, but they're still making you miss. They're defensive fighters, but they're in the pocket. It's them guys that want to be way out there. I don't have time for that. I didn't come here to see that. I ain't come here to see you keep away from the fucking guy. I came to see you lay into him. And you way out there. So please spare me Frankie Sanchez.
Okay, let me say this. There is a way to generate tension in a fight without throwing that many punches. Look, for example, I give this example even if I really don't like the guy, Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is not a really prolific puncher, but you know that this guy has the means to, with one punch, to hurt the guy and get them out of there.
That is true.
But you don't have that with the majority of these pure boxer guys, because you don't always know that this guy is going to hurt the other guy. Rigo had that power, but he didn't deliver.
No, he still had it though. He's like he knocked out Solis. Well, he knocked him down. I don't know, but I don't think he knocked him out. But go ahead, Leo. Go ahead.
No, but Rigo had the power, has the power. Now he's retired. I don't think he's coming back. But you didn't always know that he's going to deliver the knockout. He's going to deliver that moment you are searching for.
Mm-hmm.
With Deontay Wilder, by the other hand, you always have that feeling that Deontay Wilder is going to turn it up. If you don't, with Deontay Wilder, is a little bit different because the level of competition wasn't always there. So you can assume this guy is going to knock him up. But to find that in the highest levels, it's very difficult. You have to throw punches in order to entertain most of the time. Maybe if you are Tommy Hearns, maybe. But all these other guys,
was always the bane of Rigo. Like people wonder how was it that because Rigo was accomplished at 122. You know, he was unified, he was Ring Magazine, he was lineal. But if he was all these things, which is a question that somebody asked me earlier in reference to alphabet titles and collecting them, how could you collect them and you're still not a draw? Well, you're not fun to watch most of the time. That's the problem. Fighters that create excitement, they can draw. Derek Chisora has no belts. None. People watch him. People go to see him. Why? Because he's going to fight. Win or lose, he's going to fight. Alen Babic is a very limited fighter, but I don't miss one of his fights. I don't miss his fight because either he going to get knocked out or down or somebody else going to get knocked out. Yep. That's what I'm here for.
You can count on that.
He was going through the gears with the Polish guy that he just fought. The Polish guy damn near had him out.
That should have headlined the card. I'm being honest.
And I'm not trying to convince you or tell you that Alen Babic is. No, I take him for what he is. Like you a limited fighter. It's okay. I'm here for the blood and the guts.
He's good entertainment.
Jules, you know what he is? He's pretty. Babic is pretty much a street fighter with boxing gloves on.
Now here's why I love my man Crawford. Yep. Crawford is the best of both worlds. He gonna box you, and he gonna knock you out. Yeah,
and he gonna fight you if he needs to.
He'll fight you, but he'll box you. He'll box you. He boxed Benavidez and then knocked his ass out.
He'll turn it up on you too, man, and he's versatile.
All right.
And
so
I think that's the magic of the heavyweight boxing.
Oh yeah, that's the allure, bro. The mystery.
The knockout is one punch away.
Listen, Michael Mora was beating the shit out of Foreman. That one right, two right hands later.
Bye. I told people Foreman was going to win, and they laughed at me. And sure enough, Foreman won.
Did you really?
Yes. I called it from the get. I already knew Foreman was going to win.
That's how I know Country was watching. In them days, it was a question as to, he's so nice now and he's fat now. He wasn't the monster that he was in the Ali era. He come back.
Was the last thing to go.
And he just dropped that right hand on him.
You know what? The problem was Moore wanted to stand in front of him and fight him that way. And they
Moore wanted to get
opportunity for that 1-2, that jab and the right hand.
Moore wanted to get. He had to fight one. All he had to do was, and if he was in this era of keep away artists, he probably would have kept away. Because motherfuckers do that shit now. Moore wanted to get cute and he got caught.
Foreman even said the first time he hit him, he didn't hit him correctly. And Moore said he was stunned when he got hit that first time. And Foreman said he lowered it a little bit and wow, done.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Fell out like a sack of potatoes. They're just on
the average heavyweight, and I understand now why. I also understand that Mercer and Moorer and even Foreman, they were smaller men than today's heavyweights, which is why you see less punches get thrown, because the heavyweights now, they're 6'6", 6'7". Yeah, they're not going to move the same way those guys that were 6 feet, 6'1", 6'2", because those heavyweights in that era were not lumbering lummoxes. They were guys 6'2", 6'3". Remember, Ali was 6'3". He wasn't a giant. You know what I mean? Right. So these giants, they don't throw as many punches. They're not as sharp. But I'll say that one of them guys, if you get you a David Tua, put him in a time machine, bring him here, because of how quick he was and how heavy he was, and he was stumpy, bro. He'll knock a lot of motherfuckers out in this era.
Has anybody seen what he did to John Ruiz in a round?
Bro, it was 36 seconds, bro.
He obliterated him.
If he was, you know what his name was? John the Quiet Man.
Yep.
And that's what's crazy. Could you imagine Roy Jones in this era? Oh my God.
Imagine Roy, dog. Roy would beat the shit out the whole super middleweight and the whole light heavyweight and the audience and the ref and the people commentating.
I mean, matter of fact, I think I said this before. So one second, hold up. I think I said this before. I mentioned this before. There's a channel named Office Honcho, right? He covered Roy. He said, like, if Roy was around today and he did the shit he did in the ring today, he'd easily be the most famous combat athlete in the world.
Literally.
Easily.
Nobody.
Roy would have styled on Anthony Joshua worse than he did John Ruiz.
Bro, listen, Roy, bro, there's nobody out here for that shit, bro. And I love Canelo, but no, bro, there's nobody out here for that shit. No one. Nah, don't bring me the Vosdick and none of them guys, bro.
Roy was just like, there was nobody like him. I mean, there really wasn't.
For context, right? The closest guy I think that is devastating enough that if he land, he could get almost anyone out is Artur. Here's the problem. Roy would still be faster. Brody, you got caught by Jeff Page and Callum Johnson. If they could catch you, Roy can finish you, bro. He's fast enough to finish you, bro. So you probably got enough power that if you land, you probably could get him. But you got to land, and he was a lot faster than you.
You know what? I'm going to tell you this. We got to witness some of the greatest fighters from the 70s, 80s, 90s, even into the 2000s. But all these all four of those eras, we have witnessed some really extraordinary fighters.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's amazing. You know,
you guys know. Sorry.
With respect to this era, it's some in this era now that I feel these guys are extraordinary. I look at Choco. Bro, I thought you was finished after Saw knocked you out. Nope. You still out here busting ass. Getting robbed.
Anui.
Inui, extraordinary. Motherfucking Bam got the sazon. He showing it.
Yeah.
He young. And he got the sazon, like them feet, man, and them angles. Motherfucking Usyk. Yeah, man, that's a bad motherfucker. He's bad, man.
And we gotta appreciate, we got very few guys that love fighting. Very few of them love to just, all I want to do is fight. I want to fight 3, 4, 5 times a year. I don't give a fuck. I want to fucking hurt somebody in that ring.
Now, if you notice that I ain't say Fury, it's because Fury had to rob John McDermott to stay undefeated.
Dude, look at man.
No, it's that myth. I hate. Fury says he's a fighting man. Like, bro, you haven't put a sustained run together at all.
That proves that at all.
No.
Nah. Not with those two. No, not with those two.
Look at Manny when he knocked out Ricky Hatton.
Bro.
That was a brutal freaking knockout.
Listen, man. It's because them guys, even Ricky, probably would beat the shit out of a lot of guys. Yeah, because Ricky was about the shit, man. He's with the fighting, man. You gonna get knocked out or he gonna knock you out. Costa Azul, that was a fighting motherfucker too. In his heyday.
Who would have won that fight if Paul Williams wouldn't have gotten in an accident for Canelo?
I mean, at that point, look, the thing is that Paul, this is the thing. A lot of people cite that fight as some sort of a kryptonite, but I didn't forget that Paul was a tall guy who threw a lot of punches and gave up his height. So if he lands on you, you're going out. Yes. Talking about Canelo and Paul Williams?
Yes.
Don't count out Canelo because you have a tall. He reminds me of Willie Nelson, who was a very tall fighter for his weight at 154, and he would just lean over you and throw shots. You're giving up your height. You're giving up your biggest advantage. Paul used to do that. So if Canelo hit you with a counter shot, I'm not ruling out the possibility that Canelo could have got him.
Well, look,
Canelo could have got him.
Martinez, he cracked him from out of nowhere and KO'd him.
Damn.
Out the clear blue sky, bro. He was asleep before he hit the ground.
Yeah, that fight, I remember that fight because the first fight was a great fight. It was they gave it to Paul though. I mean, the cards are too wide on that first fight, but that was a great first fight.
Hey, Jules, Mr. Chicken Movie has a question for you. He says, how would you explain what happened to Roy in only a year? He went from the John Ruiz to that KO loss.
You're not supposed to go down in weight, bro.
The weight cut. The weight cut.
You put on all that muscle to go up there and fight with those heavyweights, and you came back down too fast. That's what happened.
Exactly. That's like Usyk dropping. Usyk's what, at 230 right now? Imagine him going.
Yeah, imagine him trying to make cruiserweight now.
Canelo probably would beat him in that case.
Yeah, like when the rule used to be, and with things being the way they are, who knows what's going on these days, right? So let's just be honest with each other. But the rule used to be when you go up, you stay up. You don't come back down. He came back down.
Yep.
Depleted. Chad Dawson fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just don't like Andre Ward, bro. He said
I'm from my area. No, I'm saying
you gotta live with that, Drew. He said he could do it. You leaving that part out. The Chad said he could do it.
That's where Chad he fucked up. Your dumb ass, like, bro, you already up there. I get it. You needed the money. You wanted the payday, but bro, like, that's how you. Ward ain't got no power, and he folded him.
But see, that's why I don't cry Canelo a river. After the Kermit Centrone fight, what did you say? Yes, I would come down for Floyd. So when they held you to that, I'm not gonna. No, you said you could do it, right? Well, they fucking held you to that. Same with Chad. You said you could go down to 68. So, all right then. I don't want to hear about it after that then, because then you shouldn't have said that shit.
But yeah, I mean, but let me tell you, I don't know if y'all heard this about Roy. Like they had it was something on then what was it on? I don't know if it was on Sky, but they had like a round table of like all the past super middleweights. They had Eubank Sr. there, Roy was there, Joe Calzaghe, Steve Collins, and a couple others, I think. And the question was posed to Eubank Sr. like, "Why? How come you and Roy never fought?" And you know what Chris said? Oh, it would have been suicide.
At least he was honest. At least he was honest. Look,
did you Chris see that episode?
Chris knew what it was, bro, and that's okay. He knew what it was, bro.
Well, that's just like with Calzaghe. I mean, I think if Calzaghe would have fought Roy in his when he was more in his prime and at his top peak, I think it would have been.
But I feel that that's not fair to Calzaghe. The reason I feel it's not fair to Calzaghe is, listen, he actually fought Roy. He did fight him, and it's not like he had. It's not like, oh, well, he could have fought him in his. No, I mean, like, it just is what it is. Like, I agree with you, Country. I do. That Prime Roy versus the Roy that he fought. No, Prime Roy probably would have got him. But it feels like I'm denigrating the victory that he really has in real life. But, you know what I mean? It's not fair. Like, you know, I'm like, it ain't like it's something that he could have did. Like, no, it's not fair.
I got a question.
You know, and the fighters like that. Go ahead, Country.
Sorry, just one thing. Calzaghe versus B-Hop. Do you think he won that fight, or do you think he didn't and they gave it to him?
No, I think he won that fight. I remember, I've only seen it 2 times my whole life, but I remember he was throwing a lot of shots, and that was his shit.
I think B-Hop knocked him down at one point during the fight.
You know what we should do? We should watch that shit again and rescore it.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Lady Chan be doing that shit. Shout out to Lady Chan. She be doing that shit. She'll watch it.
I'll reach out to her and see if she
Lovely Lady Chan. Hell yeah.
We should do that shit.
Roy was so great. Roy is like a throwback kind of like MMA fighter where they would fight 3 or 4 prime guys in one night. You could line up all the greats in Roy's era, and prime Roy could beat 2 or 3 dudes in a night. No problem. All those dudes. That's how great he was.
Roy
he had no athletic rival. That's his problem. Roy had no rival.
That's my thing. He was so far, and people didn't appreciate it then, really, that he was so far ahead of his contemporaries. He had no rival. He had to go to heavyweight. You see what I mean? They're like, it wasn't, oh, it's Roy and this guy like Floyd had Manny. No, it was just Roy. It's Roy. Roy.
I mean, he kept outclassing everybody. Everybody he fought. Like, so let me go to heavyweight.
He had to challenge himself with, okay, I got all the technical and athletic gifts. All I got to do is challenge myself with someone that's bigger now. That's it.
And it's a like you see how he's about to shit Capricorn. One of my favorite post-fight interviews is him and Jim Lampley because he just got hype. Yeah, shit.
Talk about you damn right. You know
what I'm saying? Like, he said, there's a big light heavyweight standard. I don't give a damn. I'm a big light heavyweight.
Jules, did you see the look on Lampley? I'm gonna go on camp for this. Lampley was like, he's an awfully big light heavyweight.
Yeah, he's like, it's an awfully big light heavyweight. Like, I don't give a damn. The one I just beat last night is a big heavyweight.
And that's where talk like that. That's where I give Canelo credit because at 23 he took on the best guy in the game.
Well, that's why I give Canelo credit because the only guy that is kind of doing that, they're like, look, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna go here, win or lose, whatever. He's the only one that's really doing that. And I'm like, yeah, I know he not perfect. I'm not telling nobody that he perfect. He got his shit to him. But when I compare what he doing to the other cats, I'm like, y'all really not doing shit. David's still at 168 after all these years? Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's no 22-year-old fighter that's going begging for Bud Crawford right now.
My God, for perspective, when he first won the WBC title was in 2017. He still ain't move up to light heavyweight. He's still there, bro. It's like this is ridiculous, fam. Like motherfucking Charlo, he moved up to I think he moved up to middleweight in 2017 also. I think he moved it in.
Yeah, 2017. Yeah.
And what the fuck?
What have you done since then? Since you've been there?
2018, 2019, 2020, 2020. You've been in that bitch 5 years?
How do we like
Brandon Adams?
How do we like Antonio Tarver versus the Artur fight?
Oh.
That's a good fight.
That's a good
Was Tarver ever stopped in his career?
No.
He never was.
The Magic Man was never stopped.
Okay.
No, he was never stopped.
I know he got losses, but I don't know if he
was. No, he lost some fights, but I don't think he was ever knocked out. I don't remember him ever getting knocked out.
No, he was never knocked out.
Wow. Okay.
It's fucking Magic Man. The fuck? Yeah. Fucking magical. Now, on that note, I'm going to take my old ass to sleep. Fucking magic. Wow.
We all old. We all old.
Right.
All right, I'll see you on the next one.
Take care.
Have a good night, Jules. Thanks for having me on, bro.